them for all Salon people and then party them. Sierra Leone Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the president's hour, and the Gladi program. Look me, I look you. All this they start soon na www.sierragemedia.org. Now who's tem these?
Hill Valley Academy is a school that provides the very best opportunities for our students to develop, grow, and mature into young adults who are encouraged to become patriots as well as global citizens. We have high expectations and ambitions for all our students. We provide a caring, supportive, tolerant, and challenging environment in which all individuals can grow and flourish. A graduate of Hill Valley Academy is a well-rounded human being capable of making the most of what life has to offer. We actively encourage academic excellence with a sense of responsibility. We look forward to welcoming you to our school and to meeting you in the not too distant future, because together we achieve the extraordinary.
Hello, my name is Josephine Kamara. I'm the founder of You Can Do It Foundation. You Can Do It Foundation is a charitable organization based in Sierra Leone, West Africa. You Can Do It Foundation has been in existence for the past 2 years. We have been fighting gender-based violence against women and girls within the community. During the past 2 years, we have been offering psychosocial support, counseling, court fee, medical fee, including school items to the survivors of gender-based violence. However, during the lockdown of COVID-19, report received and confirmed that rape cases among a minor has increased tremendously within our community. Because of this, You Can Do It Foundation has secured the land to build an accommodation for the survivors of rape. However, this may almost become impossible without your generous support. We need your help to build this home for the survivors. Your help could be in cash or in kind. If you wish to join us to make a difference in a child's life, please go to our website, which is www.youcandoitcyf.org, or you can go to our GoFundMe page, which is Home of Hope for the survivors of gender-based. Or you can contact us with the details at the end of this video. We thank you greatly for your generous support, and thank you once more for making a difference in a child's life.
My country, baby. It's a long, it's a long. Now we go with this. Cloud Diamond. Africa D-Block.
Sweet alone. What a beautiful love. We fall like onto the bone. Cause if it were, Switzerland, what a beautiful land. We fall like unto the bone, cause if it well, who's how we go. Everybody me say welcome, if we all this country so strong. Everybody me say stand up, if you like Salon, say yeah. Then say then say yeah. So good in the morning, the land is just gloomy, the moon is going, the cloud is forming, the cocks are crowing, dew is falling, the birds are coming, everybody running inside Switzerland today. The land is yummy, see the mommy they cooking fufu, the party smoking cigarettes, Rajo they watch baby Musu. We they find out the country rest, right in West Africa, on the Atlantic Ocean. Inside this land, so much I can boast of. Look at the good plantation, from the beach I get meditation. Make me not wear this nation, I get L-O-V-E for me alone. Yeah, for me alone. Love for me alone, sweet alone. What a beautiful love. We fall like unto the bone, cause if it well, who's how we go. Sweet alone, what a beautiful love. We fall like unto the bone, cause if it well, who's how we go. Everybody me say welcome, if we all this country so strong. Everybody me say stand up, if you like Salon, say yeah. Then say yeah. Then say yeah.
L-O-V-E, Sierra Leone was an L-O place where sweet like gold. We got diamond box, I silver and gold. So that we make count for the young and old. I mean for let me serve, help me serve. I see you come from the wise, you want for boot chest. Peace, love and unity, now ain't for boot fest. Cause the jealousy and culture, that don't make sense. Togetherness is one, but wait for we success. So get up and go walk, I sit down for the top. I criticize the government just for mix up. But stack on the pain, so we need for put stuff. Time for hustle for you all, no matter how you struggle the boat. This life without pain, not easy, not in the zone. Just forget to live in all myself, can go slow. We like to say I go, I never forget about this oh.
Sweet alone, what a beautiful love. We fall like unto the bone, cause if it well, who's how we go. Sweet alone, what a beautiful love. We fall like unto the bone, cause if it well, who's how we go. Everybody me say welcome, if we all this country so strong. Everybody me say stand up, if you like Salon, say yeah. Then say we all remember say, sweet alone how we own. Each and every one God take care of his own. We all remember say, this country now we own. Each and every one will take care of us alone. I will exalt thee, realm of the free. Great is the love where I get for so long. I got in a trunk of one for maintenance my land. No matter the situation, I get love for so long. I got in up every day, no day, pamphlet, place in a picking go school, make it go land the boo. I don't owe me all like farmer, put the country pattern for any attack, me the way me boo. I got in up every day, no day, pamphlet, place in a picking go school, make it go land the boo. I don't owe me all like farmer, put the country pattern for any attack, me the way me boo. Sweet alone, what a beautiful love. We fall like unto the bone, cause if it well, who's how we go. Sweet alone, what a beautiful love. We fall like unto the bone, cause if it well, who's how we go. Everybody me say welcome, if we all this country so strong. Everybody me say stand up, if you like Salon, say yeah.
Silverstone Beats.
People killing, people dying, children hurting, hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love?
See this life when we leave, oh, we all have to give, oh, yeah, yeah. Cause all I see is evil, and too much killing of my people, yeah, yeah. So let's bless one another, yeah, yeah. So let's help one another. I sing again, yeah.
What's me, I don't see this kind of thing where they happen. This not for be education opportunity. Now in we need, let we learn for the share, not to all time for big greed.
You see this life, the live, oh, is it where we lose or we know? Stop killing one another, let's stand together, yeah. Stop playing the hero, looking at each other like we're zero. On the block with the sea, money dip and make every day pan pre, yeah.
R.I.P. They took our boys, they take our joy, take our joy. This study time we stop now crime. Don't blind bodies like your future.
Stop the stabbing, stop the killing. Let's love one another. Peace.
Where is the
I see fighting every day, I see dying every day. Why don't we help each other and pave the way for a better life, a life that we all deserve? Instead of killing each other, why don't we preserve? So you wanna be a bad man, he's gonna be a badder man. You got a big nut, he's gonna get a bigger knife. Our people suffered for years in chains. Now we turn on each other, cut for gains. For the ones that send the youth to kill themselves, you pretend to be a father figure but only care for yourself. You are nothing but the flesh of the devil. You're evil, low life on another level. Think about the mothers and the pain they go through. You don't care for these kids, they mean nothing to you. But karma only knows the boomerang maneuver. One day the green reaper will be your remover.
This head of the range ranting up some sanctimonious food is a poetic verses, ruminate a prophecy given to a sentient dude. So I say it's as it is for you to listen and deduce the wisdom that's gonna liberate and galvanize you. Under the sun ain't nothing new, that for black on black crimes and breaking news. Under the sun ain't nothing new.
You gotta stand up. Stand up for what you believe in. Gotta stand up. Stand up for what is right. Cause if you got me, then I've got you too. Regardless of what you've been through. Even when you're feeling new.
Where is the
Do this if we try. There's no time to waste, no time. Together forever, whatever the weather. Us as a unit working together.
See, I did not London, but me heart still at home. God don't lift me up, but me heart still at ground. You will never go far if you don't know where you're from. So I don't do it for myself, I'ma do it for the young. Plead to my brothers, let's do it for the youngers. Why spend a bag on a jumper? Back where you're from, people dying with hunger. With people then they suffer. You then I argue, they bluff, it's copper. You're the game, need for change. Like we not get up. Where's the love? Where's the love, yo? Where's the love? I said,
Where is the love?
Little youth, let's take time. Stop all the knife and the gun crime. Think of the future, paint that picture. Get a youth in the future. Peace gonna rain on we. Peace gonna rain on we. Yeah.
Let's stop the violence and come together. Get rid of knives and guns and bombs, let's be together. Pray peace and love, golden hope through storm and weather. See what is going on.
Where is the love?
Tell me, how do you feel when you see your brothers and sisters lying down the street helplessly? And what will you do if you die today and find yourself in hell?
I want to ask you this. Look inside your eyes and answer me with all the truth. Where you get, whose side the love they?
when I left. Boku man them get nef. If you live by the nef, you go suffer. You know get sense, you know sabi say nef not for butter. Stabbing guys, yeah that's uncool. When it comes to knives, yeah I'm anti. What happened to fighting guys with your hands, G? When you stab a man, it's not one man you stab. Just remember that you stab a whole family.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or you will turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love, the love. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love, the love.
They don't get us. We don't get an Liberia. They play for we country. We they expect to now where they back home for do the best. We then I had a cry to God for we country Sierra Leone. Please, we are expecting the best from Una. Please, Sierra Leone, come together. We need peace. We need peace in that land. We are crying here in Liberia for you guys back home. Please, Sierra Leone. We are doing all this for the sake of peace. We are mounting the flag of Sierra Leone high. We are mounting the flag of our beloved nation high. So we need peace in Sierra Leone. We need peace. All we need is peace. Just give us our peace. Mothers have leave their children. We are here crying. Let's the green, white, and blue fly high here. Please, please, please. We are praying for peace in our nation. We are crying for peace in Sierra Leone. The Baptist women of Sierra Leone are here in Liberia crying for peace. We are crying for peace in our nation. We are asking God to intervene. God intervene in Sierra Leone. We are crying for peace.
I love my country, but I usually say Sierra Leone is the country I hate to love. I do love my country, but my God, it's painful. So this, to me, the anger is not because my father and others have been killed and laid here. The anger is coming that we are not learning. We are making the same mistakes all the time. All the time, we're making the same mistakes.
Hello, Fambulem. Ona, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night, depending on whose part you find yourself in the dunya. Welcome to CIGM Media, another edition of How the Go They Go Inside the Republic. Today, now a special program on Thursday, as now we do another program yesterday. So for reviewers, then we just join me for the first time, or the newbies, as I can call una, both on YouTube and Facebook. Una welcome. We happy for we una join we, and we hope say una will continue for come here. So every time when we get a program, una go like and subscribe to the channels them both on YouTube and Facebook, and follow we on WhatsApp. And make sure say when I invite other people them as well, so we not go miss on the good conversations that we go on now. So and to the regulars them, una welcome, and we want to say thank you so very much for the support over the years and for una contributions them towards the conversation that we go on the CIGM Media platform. Today, like I say, now another program, and if you not sabi, if you just come for the first time, me una host Najumaba, and of course I get me co-host with Sylvester Tiboy Dubai in 7 yesterday na in anchor the program with I don't almost guess they begin whether na 7, 8. Tiboy, welcome. Tell family them I do, and I don't know, since I missed out on yesterday's program, I want you to tell me if there was any gist, any interesting things where I miss.
Hello, welcome viewers. Welcome to CIGM Media Live on YouTube and Facebook. Cowboy and Kusha to now all. And yes, if I can come to join my questions straight away, you missed a lot. And I've been telling you, you go on international duties, but you will be jetting back into the studio very soon. And very soon, I think that today you land. Fortunately, we will forget you live for this particular program today. I know say you didn't program, so that not today make you miss her. Alexa, then any kind of international duties.
No, well, even yesterday, yesterday say I be the bet. As soon as I get small network, either at the plane or the vertical and at the airport, and they follow, I see the conversations them interesting, but I not be able for the live with tonight. So, but it was good. Fine for keep the balance and for all knows other things and they when they happen at the country. You know, and entertainment now one big thing where we all, you know, we sometimes if we use them well, go unite we as a country, you know, because music, for example, speaks to every mind, regardless of your tribe or whatever. You know, you need for stability in the scene where they dance to you enjoy. But just like how they follow the Afrobeat and other countries, their music will don't buy into. I wish we can get real more organized. But well done for hosting a wonderful show, and I hope that the discussion then will lead to something better for Sierra Leone entertainment.
Definitely, that's what we're hoping for, and I believe say with the discussion we get yesterday and the kind of momentum we'll get from the viewers and the audience, although some of them being controversial, but at the same time, that is what Sierra Leone Media is made of. And we are tolerant to everything, and I believe say at this moment in time, we can forgive people the opportunity for me to express themselves because it means a lot to them. We are in a situation where your freedom of expression is limited in Sierra Leone at some point. And when we share our platform, we have to make it an open platform for everybody for raise their concern. And we deal with the issues, not individuals, not person, but issues. So we are issues-based agenda. And we motto. And I believe, say, because of that reason, we need to get any kind of conflicts with individuals because we are always dealing with the issues, and the issues are the paramount thing we stand for. But definitely, yesterday's program was interesting. And today, I am, I don't understand suicide today. I guess me olden days telephone, where I can just make me phone call. I am on a special mission tonight. So basically, you've never seen this background before. It's something new, and I am on a special mission.
Where soon as Tiboy then these guys area, then they una for just watch out no more for what's coming. You know, so I like the only thing you know build box for a you know get padlock for them. You know, Femi then they thief that number they for call. And you know what they do? Even when they pull the thing, Femi then sabi tap the number 2211. Femi, welcome, and that's why they take introduce you. Talk about that phone day. How now be they tap the call set? You know, because we need for like pull yourself your 6 feet now. So even when they don't lock the phone, then they pull the aid. Femi then sabi tap the number 22 Kitty 55. Femi, welcome.
I fumble them. Una dey hear me?
We dey hear you loud and clear.
Una dey hear me? I don't know what for do with this guy winning Juma, man. This guy winning Juma, we get for fine. I'm really into it. Then secret away go and pull. First of all, Juma T-boy, that phone with T-boy get under so. I been go through some pictures them and the phone come up. Now somebody now walk ask me, say, what is that? You not go believe some man they don't know what's in that phone. They be sit down na phone there and you not go believe now. This is a joke at the joke. But T-boy, yes, Juma, answering your question, we been get them phone and yes, them they lock them. But even worse, we can England, we been get what other hand and he puts money inside the phone. It been get big underneath like a cash box, so you put your money inside, they will dial. But you know, say we not central about them, so that's not the way being stop with. You know, I've been sorry for me auntie no more. If you try, but to say, you know. But anyway, Famblem, thank you for joining us again. Without you guys, we would not be here. So thank you. Today is our second program this week. Yesterday was interesting. Yesterday was all about music. We talk boku, we laugh boku. Me, I laugh because you know, some of the things, although they were serious, they reminded me of the past. The mistakes that we'll make in the past, people in Brian come up. I don't believe I'm not going to say I don't believe. I believe because Sierra Leone is Sierra Leone. But the problems of the past are still 20 years down the line. We're still having these same problems in Sierra Leone. So the discussion yesterday was how do we go forward in entertainment? Naming different entertainments, when you get musicians, comedians, film directors, and you know, it was a loose conversation about the entertainment industry in our salon and how we can put we on for push and go before, and more important, for regularize them and for put structures in place for protect both the artists, well, I say artists, I don't mean musician, but anybody in the world of the arts, and the management or the investor, the promoter, and the public as well. So it was a good conversation. But today we don't dip our usual, we serious but laughable issues that we can do. So every week we talk about the current affairs in Sierra Leone. So now they can pass over to Juma, where they can entertain una, educate una, and me they can keep quiet and laugh no more na me corner.
Well, I promise you today, say go keep quiet, but not so for long. Thank you so much, Femi. And like T-Boy and Femi say, we platform is issue-based platform. We don't care about individuals. Even when we not share the same view or thought process, we still go open the platform for you for as long as you respect everybody else. And we believe, say, na conversation, now they make things fine. We get for disagree, for agree. And I go back to something where I read the last term where one of me, good friends share with me. We say peace is not when everyone agrees. It is when we can respect our disagreements and still play in the sandbox together. So we're not there for the same aisle all the time. We're not there for see things the same way. We can still disagree, but we're still able for play. Now that no more will bring peace, and we motto and mantra we don't adopt now. So say true art for talk, but not no more they bring peace. So whether on a one for low talk or not, on a low talk we go talk because true not true, get so name. I make them can say true. Over to you, T-Boy.
Well, I know say today is another edition of How They Go Inside the Republic, and we know exactly what's in the afternoon of the Republic. Two acts for talk, but some thinking the way we talk we do offend some people, some thinking the way we talk we do make some people unhappy, some thinking the way we talk some people in the fence, they're not too sure whether they will be happy, whether they will be sad. But that's a fact of being truthful to whatever you're doing. Because at the end of the day, when you're truthful to yourself, to be in denial with anything or to anybody not will make any sense to you. Because definitely the first thing first we'll go for begin look at before you even begin question people in reality. Are you truth and honest about yourself, who you are, what you do, how you do things, how you get on with your life? Are you really honest about what you're doing, that it will offend people, that will get them to their detrimental lifestyle? So we have to think about this thing, because sometimes many things what we do as individuals, not to everybody be happy with them. So man not go happy with certain things what we do. So man not go feel comfortable with certain things what we do. So man go begin look at himself and say, well, okay, why am I do this? Why am I do that? But sometimes you don't do things to please people. You don't do things to satisfy people. You don't do things for people to be happy with you. You don't do things to offend people. But it's just the fact and the reality of truth. We in like body. Most of the good friends of truth, now the one they accept them. And the one they were not so good friends of truth, now the one they really in denial. So we don't realize, say, if we're able to take up the mantra and say, true, ask for talk, but then the only thing we will bring peace. Now, because we deny certain realities them in Sierra Leone, because after the 20 odd years of the gruesome war we experienced in Salon, people then come together and say, look, who puts together something we then call truth and reconciliation. And one of the key words we come out of the truth and reconciliation at that particular word day. So we realize, say, well, if that has been the key word we come out from all the truth and reconciliation inquiry we then put together after the war, are we really taking that word into account? Are we taking it seriously? Do we actually believe in it? Because if we are in denial of the facts, say true, then the only thing we will bring peace, then we are not really serious about moving forward as a nation. We don't go through the gruesome amount of civil war with that long period of time. We possibly, people haven't been able to experience or see such kind of gruesome acts by fellow Sierra Leoneans towards their own fellow Sierra Leoneans. And I feel as something that they will really sit back and reflect on it, and reflect on the ideology behind the truth and reconciliation, and how we get to use them as a meaningful tool. We'll be able to curve the issues they organize alone. We'll be able to look at the serious implications of what in the war bring, and how we'll be able to move forward. I can always say these are the remnants of the war, now the kind products of what we have in Sierra Leone right now. Because in the first place, we haven't dealt with the psychological mindset of people after the war. We haven't dealt with the emotional trauma where people then go through. We are still in denial because we don't believe the fact that when you go through certain things in life, regardless who say you did, because sometimes people think, oh, now because in Europe, never they think that really on our mentality don't change. But when you look at what is happening in Sierra Leone right now, it's a reflection of what was happening back during the war. But we look at the root causes of the war. It's another reflection of what is happening again right now. Now some of the root causes of some of the issues that really happen. We have been same reason why we end up forget a war in Sierra Leone. So if we haven't learned, if we haven't reflected, and if we haven't looked at these issues very seriously and speak out about the truth of everything that has happened, then we are not ready yet to move forward as a nation. That is what I would say, Juma.
All right, thank you so much, T-Boy. And you hit the nail on the head, and you don't highlight the key issues there. Because if you say reconciliation, the first thing we did are the truth. You therefore speak the truth, as bitter as it may be. You therefore talk because you cannot reconcile if you not try first for talk the truth, accept and acknowledge, say certain things did not go well. Once you are in acceptance, then it's easy for reconcile. And reconciliation not means say people go forget, then can forgive, they reconcile, but they not go forget. But at least you don't learn lessons, say you don't understand the reasons behind to make certain things happen. So that lead me to a conversation today with a based mainly on the August 8th, 9th, and 10th protest, but particularly the highlights for that particular moment, the 10th, where the people's power in politics, then demonstration, where then say the host. It's big, where you say people's power in politics. So we they talk about the aftermath of the demonstration, and also we come across another run of a CNN interview which showcase, some of the civilians then death there, because there is so many allegations or things here and there, depending on, whether you're not government or you're not a victim of what's happen, or you're not possibly nor gladly with how governments handle situations there. So, but we don't see CNN interview. And I want to highlight this. I think me, Tiboy, and Femi, and a few others don't talk about this. It is not common for the international media within the space of 2 weeks run stories on a country like Sierra Leone frequently and run them for more than 5 minutes. You can get a few seconds soundbite, 1 minute soundbite, possibly not just the headlines. But when you get more than 5 minutes, now major international media houses them, and not to middle nets, and they play them for you during the day, prime time. That tells a lot. You look at the BBC, they've run more than 4 stories. You look at CNN, they've run more than 4 stories. The same with Al Jazeera. Then major newspapers around the world, they'll write about the situation in Sierra Leone. That shows how serious it is and the kind of concern we then get. So people are paying keen interest, and we'll therefore analyze some of the reports then. Whether it's what we're expecting from Sierra Leone or which we not expect, and how waiting lead we to that. And as T-Boy said earlier, waiting we don't deal with Tobin Field say we don't get peace in 2002, over 20 years ago. We are still reliving those moments again. We still they go through that, and possibly worse than waiting lead me to the war. Because on 10 day, maybe will not be get sense. I can always say we generation are the bridge generation. We will see the past a little bit, and we don't see the present and be able to see the future. So that bridge generation, we for able for not make let the things them happen today. And the people them in governance, they're part of that bridge generation, meaning, from the late 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, I should say now the bridge generation that, so we for able for testify about a lot of things that will happen, will lead we country for let it stagnate or let it progress. But if we see the same thing, there are worse things the way they happen, we for be concerned, and that's why we're talking. And also another thing we will talk about, we see governments don't pull out a statement, a notice, a public statement, say then they launch an investigation on what's happen. And also then don't list a number of people the way they feel safe for form that investigation committee day. Would they come discuss that committee day as well, the names the way they did, and also around the public notice, whether it's clear enough and whether we think say it will serve the purpose. So T-Boy, I think that's what our conversation is going to be around today. And also the other important one is the issue of cybercrime. Not say a few months or a year ago, the government passed a bill, the cybercrime bill, where we all been criticized now, so because until we don't foresee some of the things then. How now the international media have don't show concern that on the date of the protest, the government shut down the internet on people them, and based on international media investigations and their report, now that because they be one for block people, they're not for share the violent videos that will be there. That's what the government, like a government cover up. But we'll discuss that as well. I don't know if I missed anything, T-Boy.
You haven't missed anything. I think, say, you don't give me the clear insight of what today's show is all about. I just want to emphasize on one or two things. International media, what they did in Sierra Leone within the past couple of days, now full-blown reports. They don't actually make reports about anything we're not meaningful to international media, especially when they get on prime time view. When I say full-blown report, it means they will do a voiceover, they will do a narration before the voiceover, they will do sound bites, and they will do cutaways. That is what entails a full international report. If you see any media house take that time and puts together a full international report on any particular issue, it means that issue is important. That's the amount of emphasis then they put for that particular issue, because it means if they don't fly someone into that particular country, they will have a Reuters representation where will give them first-hand information of video clips, first-hand information of reports written, first-hand information of actual victim and perpetrators if they choose to do that. And that therefore cost them some serious amount of money and serious amount of insurance policy for that particular person. So it means they are taking everything into consideration for them to put together a 5-minute report of any incident that happen in any side of the world where then they actually try for highlights. And for me to do something like this to the protests that happen at Salon, it means few things. One, they have done extensive research on the issue itself. They have done extensive research on the people that were involved. They have done extensive research on government representation and also extensive research on how the general populace feel about the whole thing. So they're not just saying these things because then they go into pockets of people. They approach both sides and approach everybody with them to say will be involved in making this report meaningful. That is exactly what the CNN has done to this particular protest match we have on Salon. So if you are a Sierra Leonean and you just trivialize the kind of thing they are, so take it seriously, because it means the international media is sending a message to the world saying a country called Sierra Leone is undergoing a lot of stuff that really against human rights, is undergoing a lot of stuff that we get to do with political tension, is undergoing a lot of stuff that we get to do with economic development, we will affect growth, a lot of stuff that really happen to the citizens of the country where they against their rights. That is the message the international media is sending. And who are they sending these messages to? Investors, government stakeholders, international media houses, international organizations like the NGOs, and also then they raise concern for security alerts for any foreign involvement where they're in Sierra Leone. So this is not something that we should just take lightly, because it is going to affect every sector. Whether you are in favor or whether you are not in favor, it will affect the entire Sierra Leone. So when something like this comes out, it takes a serious government, a serious individual, a serious institution for actually look at this seriously and find a way to mitigate the situation for making it get worse. Because when it escalates to the next level, we are not in control anymore. That's the time now you see all the international media are focusing, and all the international security risk which Salon will create within the sub-region will now be monitored seriously. So even if they don't have any kind of interest over what was happening there for the past couple of years, they will now focus their attention to Sierra Leone, because destabilized Sierra Leone is not just going to affect Sierra Leone. You have neighboring countries who are also in a fragile state, and they want to protect that interest as well, because no matter how we look at it, it is based on economic interest, period. They don't want to compromise that. If we don't suffer, don't suffer, but if it affect them economically, we're going to make themselves run out of some kind of economic development where they rely on sovereign countries within Sierra Leone, then they will have to protect interest. If then they protect interest, we will have to suffer the most, because now we don't start something we could destabilize that particular region. The similar kind of stuff to what happened to Liberia during the Liberia War. We trivialize it, we crack jokes about it, and when it hits the west coast of Africa, especially Sierra Leone and Gambia and Guinea feel the beat of it as well, it affects every region really alongside the Mano River states. So that's not the impact of what they happen right now. Look, not just look and say, now politics, now position, now this, now that, because it is serious more than what we are actually saying. That is what I think you left out, Juma. I just want to highlight that because it's very important. As media practitioners, let's create the emphasis of what these reports will stand in times for making able to see exactly what's going to be the outcome of it.
All right. Thank you so much, T-Boy, on that. And again, like you say, no form of government propaganda or president in statements blaming one party and leaving the other party, or trying to find sympathy using one group that will die against another group will die, thinking say you will change this narrative. You can't change it with that. Now true, now I'm not more able to change this narrative. The truth is firstly accepting, say, firstly, how did we get to where we are today? Was it preventable or not? Which we believe, say, this situation would have been prevented in the first place. And what are we going to do for make sure so we not make it worse? And secondly, what we get for do as a country, as a nation, for let things like this not repeat themselves? Because you don't highlight that. When an investor wants to go to a country, Alexa, the president fly 5,000 times. Let's say, even if the president decide for moving office from Sierra Leone, he can say, I spend 1 week in America, I spend another week in London. He go and tour different countries then for say, they go rebrand Sierra Leone. You don't need to rebrand Sierra Leone out there. Alexa, if you do that, when investors want to go to a country, they do their own independent research, they do their due diligence and check the country in standing, both from the sociological part of it, the economic part of it, the political part of it, and then foresee if the environment's conducive for their investment. No serious country, no they go invest on side, now a country where a government label as terrorists. If you label you people them as terrorists, no one will go there. It does not mean foreigners will not go there, but the people that will go there are people that are responding to emergencies. And those people are not investors, but people that will go there where sometimes will provide service where they therefore be paid for that service. Sierra Leone was in that situation during the war. We had the emergency phase, then we get the reconstruction phase before we begin to think about the development phase. 2007, President Nkrumah and government meet up the development phase of Sierra Leone. Okay? After the war ended, the recovery and reconstruction phase from 2002 to 2007. Up until today, if you now listen to international reports, they still highlight the war as Sierra Leone suffered a brutal civil war for over 11 years. That is show say Sierra Leone is still high risk for investors. So for anybody where they go there, they're investors and they, T-Boy mentioned insurance for media people there. Investment takes insurance. The insurance where they get for take now high premium insurance because of the risk they were involved. So you calling your people terrorists will win your base. It go vibrate your base. You people that when are you supporters therefore say yeah, we president talk tough. But that's where it ends. But the country loses out, whether you like the opposition or not. So that they bring any gains to Sierra Leone by you labeling your country as terrorists. You labeling your youths as disruptive, miscalcitrant, the strong words that will presidents use, idle youths, CNN, even labeling your people as illiterates, unemployed, they're idle, they're not. Those negative, name callings will not yield anything. You go get people that will go give you how you call it in NGOs, then will go there here and there because they have to expand their service. The NGOs will only go to places suicide and they get how you call them funding for. So if Sierra Leone gets destitute youth, they'll go there for say that they save the youth, but they're not bringing anything meaningful to push the country forward. You see, so when you use what, you will satisfy yourself and your base, but the country loses out. And this is what we are seeing today. You know, the president did an interview, say, oh, now because then they jealous him, it traveled. Oh, now opposition. But that not stop CNN, for example, as we discuss now, for send independent, because now you don't make one assertion, CNN in their research, they don't do different, they don't see different stories. They say, okay, you know what? Let's send people on the ground now for go check for we. It's not what, you know, the anchors them from Reuters will possibly go get story from somebody like Umar Ufofana or another person. Not to that they take. They send people there. Say, let's say, go talk to people. Them allow you for yourself waiting and they say. The last time we see this kind of media coverage twice. It not even reached to this magnitude of this. So within the space of 2 weeks, it was during Ebola and during the mudslide. That was the last time we saw this type of media coverage on Sierra Leone.
And that was a natural disaster.
Natural disaster. And it not be able to reach this level for let we get within 2 weeks.
Yep. And the natural disaster of the mudslide and Ebola cost more lives than this one.
Lives, exactly.
But the importance of this one is the nature at which happened. Not so because of the natural disaster or the plague or the disease disease outbreak, but the circumstances around this particular one, they don't raise the profile.
Right.
So you're definitely right on that, Jimmy.
So whether the opposition talk or they not talk, whether T-Boy myself will do this program or not, whether social media people then post stuff lie or true, it's not important anymore. Because the international media don't say, no. What is happening now is of concern to us. Not to like say they don't get story, then get important things, then but then prioritize Sierra Leone. Other countries, then the way lives then they go. More than Sierra Leone right now as we speak, but they prioritize Sierra Leone for Putin at the news. You know why? Because of waiting they happen. You cannot say it's opposition because opposition don't get money for paying international media. They don't even take that kind of bribe the way they think. You understand what I mean?
Definitely not. Huh? Definitely not.
Right.
Well,
so
if the opposition,
go ahead, Tim.
If they get that kind of money they for go hire CNN, well, they have a lot to do. But to be very honest, I think we for take this very seriously. And you don't highlight the fact, say, we don't get series of different concerns with the president's statement against certain things that they don't say towards the citizens and the youths of Sierra Leone. But I go wonder why people are thinking, okay, why are you guys still doing this particular thing or talking about this? Well, you should still ask CNN, why is CNN still talking about this and even spending money to investigate about this? It's the same
15 days later.
Yeah, it's the same reason. Because CNN now will put out a report after 2 weeks of an incident or week of an incident will not happen, where everybody feels okay, we don't push them under the carpet, now let's move on. But no, they believe say, no, this is not a thing that they just shoot under the carpet like that. So we need to do a little bit more work on it and find out exactly what are some of the root causes and what are some of the implications of the reason behind the killings, whether it was baseless, whether it was terrorism attack, because they want to find out so that they have a clarity for reinforce the endorsement of investments going into Sierra Leone. That is practically what they're doing right now. Is it true that these guys are terrorists?
Yes, because are you label the people and terrorists? Yeah. The government's calling them people terrorists.
They are actually finding out whether is this true. Are these people actually terrorists? Are they actually jobless? Are they useless or uneducated guys? For like CNN protects the image of one of their witness, live witness,
Yeah.
It means they too are concerned for the safety of civilians. That's why they protect the image of an individual where they give them first-hand information. And that particular individual wasn't just traced by accident. They follow the tracks of that particular individual, and they would have decided that this person we want to talk to. Why? Because now this person now give you clear insight of what happens on that day. So what for talk to her? Because it will know. Good.
You saying that? Remember, again, this government, I really don't understand sometimes the people who they advise them, how they think, whether they only think short term, that our focus is only blackmailing a certain group of people, and then they forget about the consequences. The day when you remember, I kept telling you, watch that press conference with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Now, that press conference, now they are known for say, this government don't bungle and mess up things for themselves. Forget about the lives lost. The arrogance of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was like talking down on the international partners the way they did and making reference to things, and provocative references. Because if you keep comparing the issue in Sierra Leone to the 9/11 bombing, Osama bin Laden in 9/11 bombing, you they use them as a reference to justify you killing your people, or you they use the things where they happen, the aftermath of Brexit, not because of Ukraine and Russia war, make Britain begin suffer. Now the consequences of Brexit, because now from that time and the shelves they don't begin empty, things they don't begin. So you're using that, say, oh, even to on a self hardship day, but they didn't kill people for talking about it, for speaking about it, for challenging ministers of government, for calling them names in different ways, for staging different protests. How many protests did happen in the UK recently? It don't occur.
Yeah.
You know, Black Lives Matter did not happen in the UK. It happened in where? In America. George Floyd was killed in America, but UK, people protested. Thousands and thousands of people came out to protest in solidarity.
And even during COVID,
during COVID, right, where people them broke laws and come out for protest. No one was charged, killed, or anything was done to them. And if you are using those countries for justify, and you they talk down on them, say, oh, I know you're not used to this kind of images, but I'm putting it down there for you to see. When you know for say the images, they're not lie. The moment you don't call away, you don't put that now the responsibility for filer out there to the international bodies. And the media houses wants to follow the story to see what the UK government, US government is not doing. So you falsify all this. So you go open the Pandora box for yourself now. You think, say, you don't talk by speaking to your base, means say you don't win. No, you messed up. And your Minister of Youth Affairs went on CNN and confessed certain things there, including that the president is missing in action.
MIA.
Exactly. And the international media houses, the moment where you begin questioning credibility for tell them, say then they lie, they want to know more, like T-Boy said. They're going to go dig more. And when they go dig, they say, oh, hang on. There was more to this than we even thought. Remember the first image we come out? That man in uniform, I don't know whether he was OSD police or whatever, maybe they shoot at protesters, and the other tear gas, that bobo, where all the tear gas throwing it back. Now that trail they then follow so for go to this post where they kill in veranda. That's the trail that they followed.
Yeah, but when people saw that video of the officer with the gun firing, again, we go listen to the CNN interview because they made mention of the live rounds.
Okay.
They actually highlighted that by hiring a special investigator with a deal with arms.
Okay.
To verify whether the weapon used was a live round or plastic bullets. and this was verified. But again, like I said, they approached every player on that particular incident, and then approached the police, and the police refused to make any comment whether there were any use of live rounds on that particular day. And
so you see, I didn't even watch the interview full. I just saw a snippet of it.
Not making a statement on whether, if they make that statement, did that mean they not ask them? Then
the police refused.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say they refused, but they not give no answer. They haven't made any statement of confirmation whether there was any use of live rounds ammunition on that day. But the bullet casing found on the scene of the shooting of that particular individual within a veranda was verified to be a live case of, an empty case of a live round. So basically, it was confirmed by an arms expert. And you know what they're going to open an arms expert? I just can't verify no more say this bullet now live rounds bullets. That would have cost them a few thousands of pounds or dollars.
Exactly.
So nothing that they take lightly for them to be.
So I think what you need for do, let's play the video courtesy of CNN. So at least viewers then go see them, go get an opportunity for look at and they will discuss them in context. I just want to warn that some of the scenes are gruesome and violent. So at your discretion if you're watching it. And our intention is not to show it to provoke anything, but to just put into context in terms of the conversation that we're having. Over to you, Femi.
On August 10th in Sierra Leone's capital, Freetown, people took to the streets to protest a worsening cost of living crisis. Rising food shortages have left over half the population without enough food to eat, according to the World Food Programme. Protesters hurled rocks, set buses alight. Authorities were quick to condemn the destruction, which they said left 8 officers dead, with the president of Sierra Leone labelling the protesters as terrorists. There was no mention of the number of civilians killed, which Reuters reported as high as 21. But it was the severe police crackdown both on the streets and online that has revealed worrying signs of a government suppressing freedom of speech. The voice you're hearing is of 20-year-old Jibrila Kojo. Sitting on his balcony, he calls for those running past to be careful and not damage the cars parked below. Just over an hour later, Jibrila would be dead. His friend David, whose name we have changed to protect his identity, witnessed the shooting and says Jibrila was shot in the neck by Sierra Leone's police.
He was totally harmless. He was not even part of the protest. He was at the balcony watching the protest.
David's videos of the events are rare and risky. He told CNN he believes it was the sight of him and his friend filming that made them a target for police.
Even before Jibo died, we had him. I told him that they were firing life rounds. We need to back up, we need to get inside. But he insisted. He said they were firing rubber bullets, but it was life rounds.
CNN analysed a bullet casing found at the scene, which was confirmed by weapons experts to be from live ammunition. The police have made no comment on whether they did use live bullets during the protests. David's filming 2 hours before Jibrila's death reveals armed police standing on the streets below. You can see the red hats indicating it's the Operational Support Division, an armed unit of the police, which according to Amnesty International has a track record for shooting at unarmed protesters dating back to 2007. As other scenes of injured and bloodied protesters across Freetown began to be shared on social media, the internet was cut off. By midday, just half an hour after Jibrila's death, NetBlocks recorded a total shutdown of the internet, activity NetBlocks identified as an intentional disruption. The next day, a statement was issued by the government's Department for Cybersecurity warning that anyone spreading incendiary information online could be punished with up to 20 years in prison. And the basis for this threat was a new cybersecurity law introduced in 2021 and backed by the EU, UK and the Council of Europe.
To sign into law today the Cybersecurity and Crime Act.
The law had aimed to safeguard intellectual property and privacy online and was part of a broader initiative by the EU and UK to fund projects across Africa that tackled cybercrime. In statements to CNN, the EU and UK delegations to Sierra Leone said they were engaging with the government on freedom of speech and protest. The delegation encouraged all measures which lead to dialogue and refrained from repressive measures, the EU said. And the Council of Europe said the spreading of incendiary information is not listed in the offences under the Act. Do you think it's what the UK and EU intended for this law to be used by?
Definitely not. I mean, neither the EU, which is founded upon the basic principles of human rights, and nor any democratic state in the world, including the United Kingdom, would even consider an attempt to limit the freedom of speech in such a manner.
Reporters Without Borders told CNN any repressive provision of freedom of expression online must be repealed, and said they called on authorities in Sierra Leone to highlight the fact the Act should not interfere with the rights to freedom of expression. And for many in Sierra Leone who spoke to CNN, they said this law made them fearful to use social media to document what they witnessed during the August 10th protests.
They want you guys to see it, like the foreign media. They want the foreign media to be seeing these videos.
Do you feel scared right now?
Of course, yes. Of course, 100%. Yes. I'm actually expecting to think about it, but I pray it don't happen.
Katie Poglaze, CNN, London.
May the soul of the departed rest in peace. Fambulem, that and the CNN story on Sierra Leone. This is I'll tell you that it feels like it's happening right now, like I was right there. My body, they, how I can say, body they catch cold and things like that. I cannot imagine you looking at someone sitting in their veranda and you're shooting at them and for say the person they die just like that. See boy, but before me comment, you comment on the report.
I think, like I said, we don't see the reports earlier on, but I also take notes now whilst I watch them for the third time, and a lot of stuff were highlighted on the reports, and some of which now. The Red Berets, where they represent the operational support units, now the police force, and also they talk about the 20 years imprisonment of the cybercrime law if they found you guilty, and then since they put the cyber law 2021, both collaboratively by the UK and European governments, for monitor intellectual property rights and other issues then we're not getting nothing to do with human rights. We're not getting nothing to do with freedom of speech. We then don't use for dominates this cyber law. Because the cyber law, when we introduced them earlier on, we clearly not been in favor of them. Clearly. Because we knew this is going to be used for disadvantaged people and not forget the voice for saying anything. And one of the laws then we then passed for the cyber law now, if you say something, for example, to the Minister of Information, and he feels, he doesn't feel comfortable with what you say to him, you will be arrested for cybercrime or cyber incitement or cyber statement against a government official. So it is discretional to that individual for accept or disallow the fact, say, I am not happy because Juma tell me say I'm a thief man. I am not happy because Juma tell me say I lie. I am not happy because Juma telling me say the susu away even. So for that reason, you will be arrested and sent to prison for 20 years just because that government official not feel comfortable or happy or feel upset about the word you say to them. Can you imagine that as a law in this modern day world where they live, so that now the meaning of freedom of expression is not verbal abuse, but your opinion against certain things that you are not in agreement with? Whether they come in any form of abuse, whether they come in any form of violence, whether they come in any form of disrespect. Because majority of what we discuss here, most of them is our opinion based on the information, based on the evidence, based on the thing, and we don't see and experience what we say. Because second-hand information sometimes can be controversial. But most of what's in we talk about, where we get your own opinion based on that particular issue, nothing we don't see for we say, or we don't experience, or we know somebody, we don't experience similar kind of stuff. We will give you first-hand information, not to you say, me say, then say, then say. So those are some of the challenges that we get specifically for these reports. And now, if you look at the reports, they mention few things that we have to say very important. They do sound bites of few people. One, now the EU representative. Again, we say earlier on, they will test the European Union and the UK government for say, now una make a joint collaboration for make sure say they pass this cyber law, because they believe say now something we could be very useful for make we use them so that Africans we want for protect their intellectual rights of certain things will be able to do so, and then we'll get benefits out of them. But the highlights also say it not get nothing for do with the suppression of citizens of any African state based on the fact that they will hold on to their freedom of expression. Some of their freedom of expression can be the way how they want for talk, the way how they want for argue based on certain things that they feel aggrieved with. But you're not getting nothing for do with violence. Say yes, if you do violence, now cybercrime, that in a different crime we the government can deal with, and will not will be acceptable if you commit a crime. You get for suffer the consequences, especially when it comes to anything for do with violence. But I feel say it should also happen on both sides of the divide, which means if anybody in a Sierra Leone commits a crime, regardless of your position, you should be able to face justice, because that is very important. Because failing to face justice means you are above the law. So basically, what's in the CNN interview also bring out now a few things. They also talk to people and we then believe say don't deal with this situation couple of years back. When I say couple of years back, they make mention of the Red Beret Special Forces, we international houses, human rights, they don't highlight, say, them particular force they have, so we get a red cap. They have the potential, because they have done it before, to use live rounds on protesters, meaning they have killed people before. And if they are present in the streets of Freetown whilst this protest they go on, it is not impossible for them to repeat the same act with them they do before. This now Amnesty International, now they verify this to CNN and confirm. Not just verify, but also confirm. Say, yes, they were there, they've done it before, and they did it again. So these are some of the few things that we, I feel, say we get for look at. We make so much sense to the broadcast itself. Now, let's go to a second one, possibly we will be able to tell you exactly what are some of the reasons that we make CNN say, well, okay, this will not just go no more half and half, will go full blown. They decided to have the video of the scene itself before the shooting of this young man, may his soul rest in peace. And then after that, they played the video now of the actual shooting itself. We then show you this young man in a dinner pillar as a dead person, which is a very, very sad situation. But if you put yourself in the position of what we see and the amount of police force on the streets of eastern parts of Freetown, you have to make a decision, or you look at the choice of what you feel to say was right or was wrong. We are not repeating this because we want to create any kind of emphasis on negativity, but we repeat this because we believe, say, it is very important for us to highlight some of the concerns that we people are not in a salon they highlight. So if people are not in a salon, they highlight the serious concerns of what is happening in Sierra Leone. You not get brother there, you not get sister there, you not get family there, some of you not get even business this. But then CM say, no, we can't just sit back and allow such kind of thing to happen. Now a country we will know for say don't suffer the consequences of war, brutal one too, and they don't go through mudslide, will cost a lot of lives. They don't go through Ebola. They don't go through corrupt government practices. They don't go through plenty in them over the past 10 to 15 or 20 years. We cannot sit back and just allow this to happen again and again and again, and we don't do nothing about it. It's about time for us to actually stand up and investigate this matter seriously now, and then we highlight it to the world and see what in the world will do about it. The message is clear. It goes to only two major world players. One, the European Union, because in Sierra Leone currently, now there seems to be the biggest funders for everything that happen within government structure. Two, the UK government, because we know for say how thing bad now the world say Great Britain will come to the aid at some point if we want to go down the beginning, because then they see we like one of their own. So these are the two international bodies that they're looking up to for what has happened in Sierra Leone within the past couple of weeks. And the reason why they're going to do extensive broadcast on it, now because they want to make them two international partners. They also realize, say, well, okay, hold on a sec. You guys might be hearing different things, but we have done an independent investigation and we have compiled a 5-minute report on that investigation. And this is what the finding is. So if they don't come out with that finding, it's now up to the government of Sierra Leone, it's now up to the European Union and the UK government, and possibly the American embassy or the American government representation in Sierra Leone, to now sit on the table and have a proper dialogue about the incident. Because if that doesn't happen, it means we will be in a position wherein we will not know what are going to be some of the consequences of this particular report. Because the CNN has taken it to be a very serious issue and they're going to push it as far as they can so that something will come out of it. And when I say something will come out of it, it is not going to be anything that will be of negativity, but positive aspect. And they also make mention of one other important aspect, say, after the riot or during the riots, they highlight the brutality of what happened. They also highlight, say, protesters burn buses and cause mayhem and also highlight, say, was it 8 police officers or 6 police officers that died within that particular incident. But also, government did not make mention about the amount of civilians who died. But apparently, it was 21 or so. And the reason why they highlight that, now because it's also important, because when a government is making a report of an incident that happens in a country or in a city that has 2 fractions that are involved in any kind of disputes, if there are casualties, those casualties should be reported as equally as casualties on positive sides and on negative sides. Even when you go first war safe, if you kill 1,000 rebels, for example, you have the right to tell the world how many rebels died in that attack. Because when you start fixing or switching or playing around with the figures, it means you're hiding something. If you don't mention the casualties of the opposite side of the war factions and the casualty of your own side of the war, it means you are not being honest about what is happening at the war front. Because that was something that actually made America to be, it puts them at a position during the Gulf War for maybe the world begin thinking, say, hey, on a sec, you guys are not sending us the right reports. Because that's why Al Jazeera became popular during the Gulf War, because then they get first-hand information, because they get reporters then at the field, the battlefield itself. So they were on both sides. Whilst the American be the sending reports of how they don't bomb Saddam, he bombed Kadem, blah, blah, blah. But nothing like that was happening. They were actually looting the bunkers instead of bombing it. So you see the controversy in that? So basically, then they highlight all the issues there. So because when you give false reports or you don't give reports on the actual findings of what is happening, it means somebody is hiding something. And you know the international media, they're very nosy, they're bad. If you don't open one gap and then realize that there are more gaps behind that gap, they will dig it to the end because they want to know what is at the bottom of that particular gap. And that is practically what this government did. They open a Pandora's box and they think they can close it when they want to. No. You have opened a canker worm. And that canker worm, you get some people who want to see the end of one. Because they believe, say, what you say is like a peanut of the actual fact of what has happened. And they want to find out about that, what has happened. If it get for cost them money for even do that investigation, they within government officials, they will do it because they want to know exactly what happened so that they will use it either as a case study scenario or they will use it to stop something like that to happen in the future. That is the essence of going deep into investigating things and making a report after that. It's only in Sierra Leone. Then you do investigation. We need to get findings. We need to get reports. It's only in Sierra Leone where they do inquiries about things that should be a public issues. But we never go see a public statement from any of the institutions there where we don't begin see, they don't begin investigate for the past 3 years, 4 years.
So, Siboy, thank you so much for that. You see, another thing, I don't know whether you mentioned that or not, because you know, say Sunday, certain things they discuss now, so they can tell for what we set with more. But when they work, we continue. But you highlight something. There's nothing where the CNN interview or the other international media reports them highlights, Naya, where CRGM media they don't talk about leading up to this. Because we don't foresee some of these things. But the government, being the thing, say, the likes of CRGM media or the government and supporters and sympathizers feel say we not let government. Not to government will not like. Now the bad things that we governments they do, now we they detest and we'll not keep quiet about it. We'll talk about it. And you know, it's like this still on serious. You see how CNN rope in the European Union into this and the European Economic Council into this. say now them fund the cyber crime bill. Okay, remember some people were blaming the opposition. It wasn't the opposition. Now the European Union funder, but their intention, in a way they don't distance themselves with government actions. What we funded now for what you call money laundering, other things, but government decide for user now for trample on the people right. So you are on your own government, not so will. Una can approach you now so now for fund this blah 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 blah. We do it, but una don't decide for user for suppress freedom of speech and for trample on people right, and to the extent una they kill people now because of then they share images online or then the video. This government started, they thought social media is only for government people. They use the same social media to propagate messages. They send messages through their surrogate that they want to propagate and run propaganda. But when the same media platform is used to challenge them or question them, then they tell you, say, oh, social media is evil. Now social media and I make the country unable for develop. Now social media make you able for produce results for you people. So which image now where you go protect or clean where you don't can do worse one. Now you therefore go clean. Now you call you people and terrorists. How are you going to clean that image? How you the cleaner now? Are you going to blame the opposition?
No, let me ask that question. Eh?
Well, it's just a question for all discourse. How would you clean that image now? If you don't travel, you justify you traveling as essential travel. They travel will clean the country image, or they invite you na UNESCO, or you go for medical. These are not essential trips. Now you don't create worse image for the country because Sierra Leone was never in the list of terrorist countries.
No.
Never in real life. They're not even country near this.
No.
Even Mali, where you go say they get terrorism, I call them dissidents, terrorist attack or funded by terrorist organizations. Then they be watchful how then they label Mali.
Yeah.
You understand? Where you go say you get them kind of thing, and even Nigeria, we get a certain group where then they classify Boko Haram as terrorist organization, kind of. Then they know how then they label them.
Go say even Kenya, we get Al-Shabaab.
Al-Shabaab, where Somalians they can attack and don't attack American operations. Yes, a terrorist country. But you president of a whole nation, where you say you to go out yonder for clean the image where the past governments don't left. You decide say the best label why they give me country, the people all are terrorists them. Like say when the investors then come, T-boy, then they pick say, okay, you know what? The north, northwest, and western area, and I did the terrorists there. They don't go invest in the southeast. Then they go invest in Sierra Leone as a country. So if you don't label you people as terrorists, then they pick and choose who's one part the Sierra Leoneans. Even we were then at the diaspora. When Ebola been hit Sierra Leone, whether you had visited Sierra Leone or not, as long as you get a Sierra Leonean passport, you will be asked a question. Have you ever been to Sierra Leone in the last blah, 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 blah?
Someone face discrimination where not even don't go salon for like their entire life.
Exactly.
People
just
like
because
Ibis, Aisha, Sisi. Now, they actually come out safe and say they are proud Sierra Leone.
Exactly.
They face the discrimination of Ebola in Sierra Leone. Yeah. Because the West thought Ebola was in their system.
Exactly. Yeah. Because then they work for
imagine now they say Salon a terrorist state. It means every Sierra Leonean cannot be trusted. You have to be scrutinized. You have to be checked properly.
Yeah, you see this why I say go police if you know. Okay, now we know okay. Now the president get for go police because I the question now, not to me the question. The question the president, not us. Now the president I talk, now international media the question.
Well, would they go police? The police the guy arrest.
You see, So when you look at this whole thing, the government, I think, handled it badly from the onset, and they're not able to contain the situation, and the reaction even worse. Because if you have a government that is falsifying information, so do you think the international community will not go out there and check those information and then pictures, then they foresee whether it's correct or not? This whole interview, after government all run the propaganda with the international community, then don't do series of interviews and call the protesters as what do you call it? Violent protesters, then get guns and with it. You hear anything about gun at this report? 15 days later, nothing.
No.
It shows you clearly that the people came out because they were hungry. Half of the country's population.
Even the investigation show you what the protesters then do.
Yes.
They show you the bomb bosses, then they show you the bomb mutikale.
Yes. That's
and
what they showed.
Write the deaths of the police officers.
Yeah. And then show you police where they shoot.
Yeah.
And then show you police live ground where they don't kill somebody in veranda. And the thing is, and CNN claim the video, right?
Yeah.
Then claim and for say it's an authentic video because they go out and verify. So you know people can say self now, Photoshop now, somebody now put them together. So how would
you arms experts for verification and live bullets?
Live bullets, example.
They went the extra mile.
You know, so how would you spin this as a government? How?
They'll find a way.
Which way?
Now they talk the talk, so they will act the acts. Because as far as I'm concerned, when you make a statement that is not friendly, you have to make it friendly. You find a way. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but they will have to answer to a few questions to the international community where they fund them. For example, the European Union. You know, so they're quick for telling them, say, one or the other. Because when you get there now for beginner and Creole, it's talk to the people, and make the people understand them language. Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Say this, it's like nothing for do to you. So no, they won't cancel.
So we use cyber security or Cybercrime Act what we fund now for, you know, avoid money laundering and other criminal activities there. Not for use and for go kill you people there. Because at the end of they make now what you call them as Papi show saying that the international community now them fund them for do that one day. And Tiba, you'd always talk about this. The Minister of Information, they proudly go say, okay, now they pass judgment now. This my answer talk. I go say that video the way the stadium with them billion and the past presidents now in Bila. But I log a Panadol case. Say get Panadol and send her 8 months in prison. You know. Now you have Panadol. For Panadol, where then they buy anywhere. Just because it posts on social media. So it's a cybercrime. You remember last week, the surrogate, they all been there now, so say they go catch yourself there for cybercrime, this, that. You know. So, but they are not sitting, they're not come.
Well, again, we can always say everybody's welcome to make their statement. Everybody's welcome to join us. Everybody's welcome to express their views and opinion on our platform. It's your right, as long as you're civilian. And even the Salon man says, it's your right as a human being to express the way you feel about things. As long as you know they abuse anybody, you know they say anything we will be detrimental to that person in your life. Yeah, you have the right. That's your opinion. But your opinion can be challenged, and you should be able to defend your opinion. And if you cannot defend your opinion, then your opinion means nothing to people who are listening to it. So basically, it's about how you think about things, what you think about things, and how things affect people either around you or even yourself. And if you don't agree or disagree with anything, yeah, that's fine. But how can you defend what you are agreeing to, or how can you defend what you are disagreeing to is entirely up to you. So sometimes it's not about just making the noise, go police, now a business, now I do, now another time you do. Yeah. Now you suffer the consequences of that, but tomorrow, if you now leader and begin to suffer the consequences of what you say so to we now, how would you feel about that? Do you think you could begin to say, no, it's okay, I mean, and go arrest and so. Again, you don't come back to the online of what will they say, whether it was the truth or not, but will be the highlight, say, media presence of international people, and then they go to your country because they're idle. No. it means there is something more serious happening, deeper than watching the layman the sea. And that is exactly what these guys are doing right now.
So they will go arrest CNN now, Al Jazeera.
Maybe they will go arrest CNN because CNN don't give the Salon government more than 3 or 4 interviews.
Yeah.
Likewise, the BBC as well. I mean, for me, then come up with their own independent reporters them or interviewers them for interview the president and other people. It means they're not hearing from nobody where they represent them from Sierra Leone anymore. Now they bring out their own source. We're not getting no influence.
We're not getting no interest, no ties, anything except in job.
Just an individual man. Okay, go salon, go report about this thing. Tell me what's in your findings.
And then go to interview people and talk to who that one for talk to them. That's it. Then come out. Now then they can't edit. You know what they edit. You don't have control over. You know get for sense. So they say now this they put on, now this they pull. The person we go run the story self. Not to even they approve and for go on, right? No. There's another person. So if there's any element we're missing in that story, you know, they'll pick you up, say, this was not explained better. Can you clarify this? Yeah. You know, we want this, we want that, we want that. You know, so they ran their story. So what are you going to say about that?
And for them to fast track this and put a report together within a couple of days, it means they've spent a lot of money on this. But anyway.
So again, I think one side where the government falls short is that usual thing where they thought what happened is a story that was going to die down in a few days and people will forget. Anyway, you understand it? So now it backfire upon them. You know, you try to normalize it. It hasn't been normalized. Before that, you don't go open more problem for you because now you don't rope the EU in. Now the EU is therefore ask questions because now we CNN don't make so now. If anything where the EU want for do contrary to what they don't say right now, they'll hold them to account, say EU now they fund governments the way they engage in extrajudicial killing and human rights abuses. So it's where the EU rep come in and say, not so we own cybercrime law will put, you know, get nothing for do with that one day. And the government will not deny that because they double down. Just after they don't out the internet spam people, they issued a statement, official statement, that anybody will share videos, this, that, will go 20 years in jail. So how would you take that to say, no, we are not responsible, not to win, just propaganda, no more the opposition they run away?
Even the 20 years jail where they actually announced is another way of threatening people to be silent. Because, to be honest, I've not ever seen a cybercrime law we don't jail anybody from this part of the world. Maybe they have from this part of the world they go for 20 years. Even WikiLeaks, we don't do the worst amount of cybercrime. We don't actually disclose details of foreign offshore accounts and their names. We will be of so much threats to those individuals in case still they pending. So can you imagine making a statement like that? 20 years for anybody who post anything. Really? And you shut down the internet in Sierra Leone.
They don't just go jail the people waiting at WikiLeaks because they don't know, say, even if they don't post something where governments they're not happy about, they expose things them, they will actually try to investigate it to see whether it surmounts to anything where contravene laws them. You understand? Because they know for say if they go jail anybody unlawfully, it will come back to haunt them as individuals. The individuals that will make the decision, as well as governments them. That they able for pull a whole government for making them kind of bad decisions them they. So now they know they just grab no more, they act like that. We now under the one morning, we see one of the surrogates them, whatever I talk now the presidents they do. Because first in Johnny and they go say they kill people, they already no more they kill now. And there is a video to the effect where they show the OSTs them preparing and threatening way before the demonstration. Say if una believe una self una come out. Una they make gigi gaga, we go show una say gaga gaga, not they walk. There is that video to show say una intention all.
So it's not premeditated.
Yes, it's premeditated. So there is that video to show that you plan actually to go and kill people and cause mayhem. So you have that. So how would you deny that you did not do it? Now protesters then kill 6 police. Now we don't get more information. that you had forest guards. Remember them people every day let them get to that green uniform. They don't begin catch them not now the eastern province, na Kenema. They get pistol. Would I give them pistol then? The forest guards them. Remember, we talk now, so why do you have to train forest guards? For what?
But Juma,
yeah.
I listened to the president, one of his statements, them say some of the Bobon and William old come out all the way from Kamakwe. Now, I am looking at the scenario of somebody coming all the way from Kamakwe to Freetown for camp protest. Kamakwe to Freetown. How that person they impairs them will not foresee they don't hold me picking in a police station.
All right. You see, that's the deception and the lies. Exactly. You know, the whole. Okay, you know Tony, right? Tony Konomani.
Yeah.
All right, Tony Bekono. So then go arrest him and everything. I don't know how he managed to escape, you know, from the country. He's out. His statements today, he said the easy way made them go invite and then say he did at the Watalona protest. Tony now is saying that over 1 year ago, here in Uman, then we get problem, we then separate, we last come off with Tom. He's been in Kono for over 1 year. So how he managed fending himself now Watalo?
Well, if then he say the picking them, not so well.
Yes.
Some of the people where we all self right now in a police station, he cannot believe say them come all the way from Kamakwe. And now them people and they can't fend them for make we left them. Them people them.
Yeah.
We don't know the figures. It might be 10, 15, 20, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, for example. But are you telling me how a youth from Kamakwe, they left Kamakwe, he jumped inside Motoka, he come all the way to Afriton, he not stop Namakeni for protest, he not stop Wasalo, he come all the way inside Afriton for camp protest. Where he can do on Kamakwe, where he can do on Namakeni, where he can do on before my 91.
But interestingly, people protest na Kamakwe.
Exactly.
And then tell you say them one police station na Kamakwe.
Exactly.
So how did they not decide for protest here? Do you know what they're trying to do? And you know, we have to talk these things because then they try Kamakwe outside the whose district?
No, they're not.
No, whose particular district?
Anyway, no.
One of the new districts.
Okay, the new from. Is it Karina?
Karina district.
Karina district.
So Karina district, who that come up Karina?
Yeah.
Who that come up Karina? Samura Kamara. And what have they been saying? They say Samura Kamara 9. So you don't see the case there when they try for bill. So Samura Kamara
justification.
So Samura Kamara and Ambassador Yansane we actually come up Kamakwe. Now then get people picking them and carry it there. So now that case then they try for bill. You have to understand how these people operate. So they're trying to build a case. So you see, and then go to them people picking them and Kamakwe, they bring them camp for camp protest now. So they use them as human shield because now that is the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
So the Westerners is so you just know what they bring in camp, but the people now they can't be for them.
No, the president self say that. Say in a CNN interview or in Al Jazeera interview, say they go bring Pekin and they use them as human shield. Now that make in the investigative team we can talk about, they include somebody from Defense for Children International. They don't even know how that organization formed anyway, but we don't politicize them. You know, Temgo Richo will tell them who that are the possibly form Defense for Children International. Well, anyway, we'll talk about that later. I may not be, but you know.
Oh, you know, consulting pioneers.
We'll tell them the stories about.
Because you say you've set up, but who of them peace mission and they after the war? Because now that should be the new primarily.
We'll talk about those things.
But for me, they don't say the war don't done, but look, we can't teach on who's some part of the war.
Yeah, so then Gapna they don't include that, but we'll talk about that. So you see, this is the deception about this government, and but when they do that, they succeed for discredit themselves. Even if they had a case, if the president had waited and not jump into conclusion and blame people, say, now the opposition, and call people terrorists, and just put them to, and just say, you know what happened is unacceptable. You know, my condolences to the people that died, and we'll launch a full-scale investigation. That would have satisfied everybody.
Then what is wrong with saying, sorry, we've made a mistake here and there, we can fix it? Because there is nothing impossible to be fixed. As long as you get an error, you can amend that error. But you got to accept first, say, mistake has been made. If you got to put the blame on the police force for, say, they use excessive force and they have gone beyond their reality. If you got to blame anybody, blame somebody. But don't join the bandwagon of making false allegations and statements against people who don't have nothing to do with this anyway. Because the first important thing where international media was trying to highlight the cause of the protest. What was it all about? Is it based on incitement? Is it based on reality? Is it based on falsifiable information given to them or anybody else? And they've proven it. That was the first thing they started to prove first. Is this a riot based on what?
Mm-hmm. And then conclusion, CNN say, hungry people, hungry protesters, half of the country, they suffer hunger. And even the president don't admit that, because if you say majority of your population are unemployed, you understand, things are difficult, but not because of Ukraine and Russia, the issue. You don't admit, you don't admit, say people are suffering. What you did not say that your government is falling short in taking responsibility and doing something good about it to change the situation in the country. So, T-Boy, when I saw that presentation from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, you know they did that thing within less than 24 hours. For put all that material together.
Dima, I still haven't been fortunate to watch that interview.
You have to watch it. I want you to watch it. If you watch that one, you will broke your TV force or whichever device you use for watching.
I still haven't seen it yet, but I think I will. I will try my best to watch it, because again, I know Professor David Francis to be somebody who talks with emphasis for you to believe and get convinced of what he is saying.
He doubled down, he triples down, everything he did.
That's what I'm saying.
He go forward, he calm, he talk down on people and even bully and say, oh, I don't want you to, waiting at the word? Let's say for line of fitiam, I don't want you to abuse my intelligence, something along those lines. Wow. Or I don't want to abuse your intelligence. You understand? We want to talk down on them. But then they tell and say, I don't want you to abuse my intelligence.
So it's whatever is correct. So you don't even have to question it.
So I'm forcing it down your throat. You have to accept this. Femi, if somebody they give presentation like that.
Femi, now professor in presentation also.
No, because he listens to different speakers from different part of the world. We want for conditions. So you hear those things. So if somebody come with that kind of thing, how would you go ahead?
Femi, an expert in analyzing presentations, because you don't see presentations from all over the world, from different practitioners, from legal, economic, finance, defense. Anyhow, Femi knows. So Femi, over to you. Give me some of your investigative skills on how you analyze presentation.
You T-Boy left. T-Boy left. Okay, give me one now. When I want T-Boy. Yeah, so I watched the thing. T-Boy, for watch it was quite it was tasteless. It was quite embarrassing. He sounded very pompous, arrogant. I think he talked about almost book it all right. He's this, he's that. It was all about him, and then, when he's forcing, as Juma said, he forced the word then down you mouth, and you have to believe him on who are you to question him. I mean, his language was terrible. His body language was even worse. And yes, you're kind of right. I do sit down on quite a few, events where people in the gay, speeches them. But more important, I sit around in events where people are getting coached. So when they show them, waiting and they do way wrong. So, would film somebody, and that person then go make it sit down and watch the team back, and then go ask and say, which you think say you do right yonder, which you think say you do wrong yonder. Then go advise you and thing. But it's the problem we get in Sierra Leone. We not get good advices. Them the people we surround, the administration don't surround themselves with, now people that we really and truly supposed for be brought to, I'm not gonna say justice, but then for discipline them, because either they don't know their work or they're too scared to say anything, so they're not saying anything. When things are wrong, they're not calling them out, they're nodding their head, they're saying yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, instead of telling them the truth. And sometimes you have to stick your head out and say, pa this speech not deliver and so, or pa not talk so, or low change this word, low add this other word, because this word go sound a little bit better. We need them kind of people in our salon, really. We can't be having our so-called leaders they need disgrace we saw in mainstream television. I think the minister of youth the other day, women in our television, and really and truly he made a fool of himself. How many times we presidents don't go on live TV where would they cringe? So there's people that are responsible for putting these people in front of the camera, and they ought to know better. But the minister that day, I think Juma and teacher, not been Juma and teacher. Yeah, it's Juma and teacher. That day he was really and there's international people them at the platform. And then worst case, there's cameras there in. There's cameras in where then video then they don't go all around the world. And that's what is representing Sierra Leone. It's honestly, it's a shame.
So when you look at them kind of thing and they're sorry for this government, then you don't understand why they continue to fail, and they become so defensive and arrogant, just like how Femi say. Because I don't know who said this the other day. We interviewed Adebayo Nason also. What he been tell we? He said nobody in this government knows how to talk. Anyway, open much for talk. You ask the one. And when you look at the whole thing, it's true. Anyone, if not the Minister of Information, will look under. Because you go make law in your right mind. You say you're not PR expert, you don't work na Sierra Leone Ports Authority, or then sack you because you get that bitterness day. So you can make law because you want for trample on the opposition, and a law where they can affect you self now. Because now the law where you don't make, now it don't affect you so. And you have your boys out there threatening people every day, say they go kill them, then go this, then go that. Someone mentioned the Evangelist Samson in situation who talk about cybercrime. That was the main reason why he was killed. Because this guy had one of the biggest platform, Tagmen, goes around the country, the whole world, a big network of cyber, what you call them, or social media activists. They report live in real time. So you don't like it, because of that you decided to kill him, you assassinate him. Then then the president say, in an Al Jazeera interview, he said no one less sabi Samson, and they asked him how comes. He said na be exchange of fire. Samson then we get gone, ex-combatant. Then they fire at the police, then I make the police then shoot him. When then quiz out the question and follow 1, 2, 3, he say, oh, well, I was not there, but I got first-hand information. But don't say, you give statement of fact. Statement of fact. Then later now you say, oh, no, you're not in video. But I got first-hand information.
It passed the buck, isn't it?
It passed the buck. Because remember, if they don't tell people, they say, I will betray all of you. All of you I will betray.
But the interesting thing about that interview, now the fact say he actually made few different statements them at that same interview. And then can you imagine you making a statement of assurance for say, this is exactly what happened. Because either you were there, or there was a living witness, we don't can give you this report, or something else. Because I've never seen any leader in the world where they give you 110% guarantee with what they are saying from an information being passed on to them. They will say, according to, based on. Those are the words that they will use. Like Femi say, I don't know who is actually schooling the president in his statements when it comes to the public domain. I don't know who is actually sitting alongside him to actually look at what he is saying or look at what he wants to say or what he's going to be saying today, tomorrow, or next tomorrow. I mean, a sitting president who can tell you, say, Mina old soldier. Okay. Mina army man. That thing where I mean take ammunition for cash donaya, not saying this so. Can you imagine that? So he was proud of it then.
Yeah, but not now.
Well, he's still proud of it now because he said this is different now. But if you say you want for cancer, any news are this so now for AD.
I remember if we don't tell you, old soldier never die.
And he tell you back again, say if he get for chase you for crime committed against you, it will chase you to the graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
This is the president talking.
And they ask him, why are you doing? He say, it's my right.
Can you imagine?
So your right to kill people.
So it's not the right of citizens.
Yeah.
It's your right because you're the president of Sierra Leone.
Citizens do not have rights to protest, but you have a right to kill them for questioning you. Because you say they will overthrow you. Who wanted to overthrow you? You were not in the country in the first place.
Juma. Okay. Now, can we just switch to the investigation? Because you know some
yeah.
No, seriously.
So you're right. Now we don't discuss the things there, and we will continue to follow this part for ask them questions here so and look at these things. You know, because like Femi said and T-Boy say, the people that were supposed to guide the president and the presidency don't continue for failure, because when you get a group of yes men around you, only waiting you and for your and then they tell you, then you have a problem. So Dan and I create the opportunity for a media like Sierra Gem Media for question some of those loopholes, some of them dangers, and we will continue. So that leads us. Now we don't see the mix up and box up with the gun. But the president been promised, we say, then go launch of investigation for the police that we then kill. But now they don't pull a public statement about an investigation. We go look at the root causes, this, that, including how the police respond. So we want for can discuss that public statement and the composition of that investigation or whatever. Now, investigation committee, I don't know what it's called.
I don't know.
Okay, so we'll come and discuss that. So over to Eli, you comment on that.
Before we discuss that, I get few concerns, and those concerns are some of the concerns we get will lead to the investigation, because otherwise the investigation would not be meaningful, right? One of the reasons then we make us say so now, because people have died during this protest. Bodies has been kept away from people who have lost their loved ones. Yeah? But now just look at the scenario. Let's say we don't know the exact figure, but 21 civilians died. Yeah? And then we have 8 police officers who died alongside these 21 people. Now, the government, they give preference. Yes, I agree. Maybe they are governments, maybe not in things that they right, maybe not in feel to say they're supposed to do what they do so, no problem. But how are you going to investigate the death of somebody that has already been buried without proper postmortem? That's one. 2, how are you going to be neutral in investigating the death of civilians that their parents haven't been able to identify? Are they going to have independent pathologists, independent defense, we no be able for compromise their case? Because one example I want to make is the death of Evangelist Samson. The president said, crossfire. And when you're there in crossfire, now two things they happen. You will be shot from a distance, from an angle, not with a direct shot, except if you've been shot by a sniper. It will pick a specific target. But in a crossfire, you get bullets then we go in that particular environment state with empty shells in a crossfire. In a crossfire, if you have a magazine, when at 24, 30, I don't know how many rounds in a one magazine, you go almost empty that magazine there in a crossfire.
Right.
So I am now thinking.
For pick your target.
Thank you. What is this investigation going to be based on? The findings of this investigation is going to be based on what? That's one. Two, if we not get postmortem being done by the one that we already they don't bury, what is going to be the basis of their death? Investigating how they died, what actually killed them? Were they brutally killed by armed men or by bullets or by whatever device? On both sides of the investigation. So my question will be, what are they going to investigate? That is my question. Because if you don't know about some of those basic elements of any kind of crime where they don't commit, with the use of certain types of weapon to commit those crimes, certain amounts of individuals have been buried, some haven't been buried, some they still hold on to their corpse. We don't know whether they've been buried or not. How much access where the people and where they create or profile their individual they also will die for make them build a case on what happened, because it's going to be fact finding. And if you're doing fact finding, you need to investigate about everything that has happened, because you're going to do fact finding. I don't know what's in the basis of this investigation or what they're going to be investigating. So that leads me to the question of saying, what body formed the investigative panel? How were they selected? Do they have a balanced share of gravity where no go compromise the investigation? The president already have taken position. The Minister of Information has taken position. The Police Inspector General has taken position. Some members of the civil society have taken position. What are they going to investigate, and how biased or how genuine is that investigation going to be?
So,
those are my questions.
Sierra Leone, it's sad for we understand. You see, again, it comes back to the same deception. When you're doing things for the right reasons and when you're doing things to cover up, it'll catch up with you. If you do them for the right reasons, God they guide you path. But if you not do them for the right reasons, it will expose you. You ask salient questions. What are they going to investigate? Okay? And whose body will form, this investigation? I'm talking to you, if you see my eye down, I'm trying to find a document, for reference to you on a few things then, but I'll come back later. Firstly, you ask a question whether certain people are supposed for show whether any investigation that will be undertaken will be credible. Already don't take sides, don't take position. Way one is the president of Sierra Leone. The president already started by labeling a whole political party, the main opposition, as the people behind the protests. That's one, the immediate statement he made was to label the opposition party, the APC, as the people behind this protest. Secondly, then they call them as terrorists. And remember, this is not the first time the president used the word terrorist against the APC. Okay? He used it after the Pademba Road killings. The president, I'm not saying other people speaking for the president, but the president of Sierra Leone labeled the opposition as terrorists. This is not the first time the president is claiming that they wanted to kill him. Remember the Paulo Conte situation? He was in prison for how long? For a year. And later released with nothing because he wanted to teach the opposition a lesson. You look at I'll tell you now waiting they get for investigate, waiting at the outcome. So waiting until you say the immediate, waiting at the word where they use, let's go back to the thing. I beg now for help me. You say accordingly, let me finish now.
You will like that?
Wait. So accordingly, it has pleased His Excellency Brigadier General retired Dr. Julius Madabio to announce the establishment of a special investigation committee to examine both the immediate and underlying causes, sources of financing, execution and consequences of the insurrection, as well as the response of security forces. So, my investigation landing. They already don't get an outcome where they want. What do you notice about this government where they tell you say we are investigating something? What has been the pattern?
Well, to me, I don't think there is a pattern. Now one-sided pattern. We don't always...
Right, so what has been the pattern from anti-corruption investigation?
It's an ongoing process without no ending, bruh.
And then they tell you that they investigate from whose term?
From zones to zones. No specific timeline.
From 19 Jubilee,
that is
from 11 years ago, when corruption issue happened about the embassy, then they investigate from 2009 or 2008.
From zones to zones.
So you know what they're going to start doing? They have a word that they're going to be using for use as the underlying cause for blame on Dr. Samoa Kamara.
Because Dr. Samoa Kamara say he will make Salon
ungovernable if you not win election. So that is what they're going to use as their foundation for the investigation. I'll tell you this as a fact.
You man.
One. So with that, what?
You could not label yourself. Look, we just wait for see what thing will be the outcome of the investigation.
No, this is make we talk. Let people already know.
There is not going to be any investigation.
Thank you very much.
There is not going to be any investigation.
Thank you very much.
Because if there is going to be one, no for the watch for go back the police officers themselves.
Exactly.
If there's going to be one, we'll not for still hold on to people that we don't die when are civilians. They will not even know the amount of people that we die.
Exactly.
If there's going to be one, there's not going to be any investigation.
Right. So they just name them for things said in the full international community, and few people that we don't understand how the government operates. Pademba Road killing that happened about 2 years ago. We don't see investigation.
You know how many people died at Pademba Road prison, and these people are armless prisoners.
Yeah.
Armless prisoners.
And what did they do as well? They rush for go back then a mass graves, right? So we not able to know how many people that when a stampede kill them, how much people that when a bullet wound, 9 kill them. We don't know that number.
And that may even worse, where were the families of those people that died?
That's it. That was a massacre. How many
were informed? How many people know say in Pekin on that will be the Pademba Road? What's in the outcome of that? What's happening with the investigation for that? How many people died? How many people were shot rapidly, randomly, undiscriminately, anyhow? Come on, let's be real.
So 2 years gone, if you not
investigate that, now this should investigate.
The killing of McKinney, 30 they will not get report on investigation. I remember last year, was it 2 months ago, the members of parliament, they asked question that we are still waiting for the outcome of that investigation. That was 2 months.
Juma,
yeah.
We were here a couple of months ago. We then sacked Auditor General. What I say? Investigation pending, outcome will come when we think it's necessary. And guess what? Maybe sometime for the next couple of months, then we just don't put the report and put us somewhere loosely.
They not get no investigation. Waiting they want for do. They don't want for reinstate them because they don't want for let audit report come out. That's the only reason. There is nothing that's going to happen. Tribunal, nothing. But I just done it no more because then feel say, okay, let's neutralize them. You understand? They're not. Then they shame for reinstate now because if they reinstate them, you know, it will get for do work. It will get for ask questions. It will get for do things them. So they don't want that to happen.
Sometimes we have to be very honest about this thing. But let's go to the names of the people who are listed on this investigation team.
So, but the one thing you don't say, we'll predict again here that there's not going to be any report. Because one, if you have a serious investigation like this, if you don't put a timeline, I'm expecting a report within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days for don't come out. But nothing like that. Let's go to the name step.
I mean, let's be honest. How will somebody fund a protest like this? Because when you see a funded protest, what's going to be the visual of a protest with a fund?
T-shirts, placards, the same placards, what they don't write something and printed banners and things like that, megaphones, you know, beatbox, music, here and there. But there was nothing like that.
That is funded.
There was no start point and end point of it.
Thank you.
So this happens all over.
That is a protest that you will refer to was funded and organized by ABCD. Then you will begin telling me, say, okay, what should you go investigate? Okay, who that fund this? Who funded it?
Right.
Who do you want to say fund this? What's the investigation? Okay, how many people have you arrested that you're going to be investigating? Are you going to investigate the people that you arrest? Already, they are vulnerable. So they're going to give you the answers that you want. Now you know protocol holiday. Well, if you don't talk to school, they keep you down for the next 6 years.
Yeah. False confession.
I want to go home.
Yeah, I'm writing this for you.
None of them will have a lawyer representing them in court. None of them will have a lawyer representing them. Why is they interrogating?
See, but their family is not even able to see them. Lawyers not able to see them. Nobody able to get contact with them. They don't even know who side the people and they. Because one thing when they tell you now, Pademba Road Prison, Benghazi, and all the police stations in Africa. You understand? They don't get space for because they don't capture over thousands of people where they don't kidnap. Because they call them kidnapping, not to arrest. They've kidnapped them. They took them to Bonth.
Wow.
Bonth. And they didn't carry them go.
Wow.
And the one that went in a police station in Africa, look at what we're hearing now. The allegation that they raped the woman them inside the police station there.
Okay. That is a different story. Now let's go to financing, execution, and consequences of the insurrection. What does that mean?
That people then die, and then it cripple the government. So if you want to know what they're going to investigate, what in the investigation they come out with, go take Professor David Francis in presentation, that in 30-minute presentation, where he used the word terrorism 25 times inside it. Then you take the president in speech, you add them. That is the another 9 for use as the report for the investigation. That's one. That's exactly what they're going to use. Now that blueprint there. So if they want, they don't take sides, don't make them statement that what is there to investigate. Just come out, say, with justification, say, we been right for kill people. Then people are over to the government. That is all.
Okay, Juma. The investigation team, let's talk about it because are the same names that they are not feasible. Capable of investigating anything because are they investigators or they've been selected based on their positions of trust, or they have done similar investigation in the past, or they have the potential to investigate issues like this?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
He asked me to ask you a question.
Yeah, now I ask you a question back for all begin expand the conversation. So think. Would you bite the hand that feeds you?
If I know I'm going to choke, yes, I will bite the hand that is going to feed me. If I know,
if you bite the hand that feeds you, now angry they kill you.
If I get for choke, you can't feed me while I choke. Before that man die with angry because I get for die still because I dey choke.
All right, so that are you, right?
Yes, not me. But so me ask the question.
Yeah, now you ask. But when you bite the hand that feeds you, now angry, now they kill you. That's the bottom line here. The point for tell you, the people that way them put now this list are on government payroll.
Thank you.
So how would you put people that are on government payroll, and most of the people that way they apart from 1, 2, 3, where you go say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where you go say not to government appoints them, where as it has not pleased His Excellency not to appoint them. Because remember, say this government can every appointment therefore be approved side.
From the president downwards.
President office, right? State House. Now they didn't get for approve the letter of appointment or blah 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 or contract. So apart from other ones, what we know for say those were like funded underneath by governments for make sure so they can get their own people in their strategic positions. Are appointed by government and they're on government payroll. Would you do anything contrary to government? Would you do anything to taint the government? Because why did they close? Let's make them shut the internet. Because they're not one for let people put anything where would taint the government bad. So how would you appoint investigators that will give a report that will be contrary to what you have claimed already? Which you don't pronounce out here, and what's in the statement that we don't make. Tell me who that guy man go make statement at that investigation team day where they will be contrary to what the president been don't say. But forget that for a second, T-boy. How would I investigate myself?
I don't know. Because
I ask you that?
That's what the president is doing.
The reason why I ask you that, one of the people away from the panel, now the the head of ONS, Office of National Security. Okay. Before the protest, the head of the Office of National Security, Abdullahi Koka, issued a statement, threatening people not for talk anything against a particular tribe.
Yep, I remember that statement.
Remember that statement?
Yep.
And he said they will face waiting, the full
blood of the law.
That was one. The same Abdullahi Koka was at that meeting with the international community. And he was introduced by Professor David Francis as the person who will lead the intelligence and investigative team will put together the report where Professor David Francis submits.
And then they can investigate back?
Now they can investigate. And now in the person will write a letter to the military requesting for MacP for say them the police not get capacity for handle the protest, so they need the help of the military. And the military will end up shoot Evangelist Samson. The same Abdullahi Koka, now the person where the British High Commissioner asked a question, they asked Professor David Francis, say how many civilians there will die? How many? He referred the question to Abdullahi Koka say he don't know the figures there. Abdullahi Koka, now he leads the intelligence, we make Professor David Francis and the president comfortably say the protest was not a peaceful protest. Right? If you get people with gun, they even show pictures with people carrying gun But me and you, who are not investigators, them able to find out, say, the post where they carry the gun at die man, we don't die 12 years ago, and not to Sierra Leone and die man, na Nigeria man die man. But they then put that as part of the investigation. He led an investigative team where projects to the international community say, them protesters here, so they were so evil that even young girl police woman, them beat until they mash in head. But we can't find out, say the police woman die of natural causes. And the other policeman die of what you call a complication after surgery. So this is the person. But then you say
that the way they public, where they present to the international community.
And then use them as propaganda machinery to Sierra Leoneans we not understand better than play on the emotions of people. And this person is sitting there like a panel. And one. 2, Women's Forum.
Yeah, Savila.
The lady.
Yes. I remember we discussed a couple of weeks or months ago.
When Femi Claudius called them protests, the women protest, what he call her? He said now politically motivated protests.
Well, we talk, say, they talk on behalf of women of
women. Right. And he blamed all the women. They said the women they idle, then they use them with politicians, blah, 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 blah. So she is part of that. But there is strong evidence that she's a SLPP card carrying member. She's not just Women Forum, but she's SLPP card carrying member. And they had a meeting to host a counter protest before the people PPP protest. Then the one for host a counter protest where Naim for organize. They had a meeting with the Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs for the Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs for host a counter protest pro-government for support the government. So then people that then form this group. You have the Bar Association, Wedo Mumu, all list them. And every member yonder, every person within that committee, either are strong SLPP members or strong SLPP sympathizers, and most of them had made statements condemning protesters or sympathizing with the police and forgetting the civilians. What would you expect to come out of that?
Yeah, that question, definitely I can't answer it because I already know what's in the answer towards that question there. Some of the names they see, now names that we don't strongly be associated with the government. They have been on the side of government from day one. Maybe not all of them, but majority of the names they don't see this. So out of these 15 names, I think 90% of them get close ties with government. And I'm not free to say that is the composition of the Special Investigating Committee as the president chooses his words to say that. I think I would have expected something that is coming from maybe non-partisan, political, influential people. Then we have to say we will form that committee there and investigate thoroughly. What's in the reason behind the protests? What's in the do's and don'ts? What's in the fault of whoever you want to hold accountable for anything? But those names of people that I saw on that list, sorry, cannot.
And you look at the organization, Safety Boy. The president met with who recently? Council of Paramount Chiefs.
Well, now then we go make that statement. So we say in a what's it?
Adebayo Fambu.
Oh no, yeah, but I don't see it.
Adebayo Fambu.
Let's see how it. But to be very honest, Juma, the investigation team now bunk because they not get for make nothing. And obviously any investigation get for come out of this. It's just a waste of resources already, and people are going to be paid for the demise of people who have died. And they're not going to come up with nothing substantial for me to look into and say, okay, we can learn some lessons from this. Okay, we'll not be able to make these mistakes again if anything like this happens. Okay, these are some of the do's and don'ts if we fall short into any of the kind of issues there. So in the future, it is going to be baseless, it's going to be useless, it's not going to be meaningful, and you're not going to mean jack to anybody. The only person who will look at this is saying, listen, a report they don't put together from the investigation team. Now somebody will go there in favor of voting already, the one for go rights. We don't know no rights and stuff anyway. They can clearly say it's going to be the combination of the report where the foreign minister presents to the international community. That's the picture that they are painting. That's the picture that is going to be the outcome of the investigation. It will not change. It will change slightly. Maybe they might twist or change some words for actually make them slightly different, but it's still going to be the same report anyway. I don't think there's anything that will come out of this that will be meaningful to Sierra Leoneans, that will be used for practices in the future. Because we don't see anything we don't come out of any reports where this current government don't put in place for like it be something of substantial use to the country anyway. Or even for like we say, well, okay, these are some of the lessons they would learn from this, so next time make it happen again. One, we're not supposed to demonstrate in the first place. It is illegal. Who says? Government, and the same government back they go investigate. So how can we justify the protest in the first place? Because they'll always in our panel they will tell you, see, it was not a just full demonstration.
Let me read for you the names of the people that will occupy some of the offices. Because you see how this government they do. So they put names of institutions for full people. Yeah. So you have to know the names that people
of the people
in this position.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just say chairman.
So the chairman,
president, national chairman. They don't even put names. I don't see.
So me they tell you the
only two names there that we don't see. Two names only.
So Emmanuel Safa Abdullah.
Name Lawrence.
Okay. And Safa Abdullah, a young man with promises, blah blah blah. But what was he before now? I mean, the head Premier League board, right?
Okay.
Who appointed him, and now he serves as what, consultant or chairman for different boards or whatever. So you get a lot of, contracts the way they get here. Yeah, For me, I feel bad for him. He might be performing a duty here, but you cannot, you're not able to do well for himself with the kind names that we're missing now. So because he was part of Renaissance. And who's Renaissance?
Ibab in small world
group. Right. So Renaissance now then be host series of protests the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's here now. Let's see. If it was me, I would turn down this offer because it's a trap for him.
Why would he?
Huh?
Why would he turn it down?
Because it's a trap for him. As a young man, it's something that's going to dent his ambition. He's not going to be able to do anything here because the intention of the group, why this was set up, is not to serve the public interest. He's a young lawyer, respected. He's a young, brother. I get, high respect for him. But this kind of trap, I'm not going to go inside it. Me. You look at the security sector expert, Lawrence Bassi, who that appointed. Executive Director, Legal Aid Board, Fatmata Claire Carlton Hansels. Do you know who she is?
No.
Okay. Who is your Minister of Tourism and Culture?
Nah. Nine begin?
Nine small sister.
Okay.
Right. But according to Itayeri, say we don't make statements already criticizing the protest and things like that. So National Security Coordinator Ablai Koka, and Sludge, of course, Hamed Nasrallah, President Sierra Leone Bar Association, Michael Aswalo, Executive Director, Defense for Children International.
Now your organization.
Not to my organization, no. Abdul Manaf Kemokai.
You know, one of the Papa founder.
President, Women's Forum, Sally Adams. President, Interreligious Council, Archbishop Tamba Charles. Do you know who that is?
No.
Would have been tied out wonderful married.
That why when they sack the first bishop for
yeah, when they put her them then chain and force them locker.
Then chain.
Chairman Peace Commission, Mr. Shekhar Mansai. We've discussed him here before. Yes, Femi.
T-boy. I think say you know when CNN put that video we showed just now, then put say then say they do their own investigation. I think so we need for God to CNN for me then take Juma, make Juma join that investigation because Juma this is also FBI work no more they do for me. serious work. It defend the all one by one, I find the link. Jesus Christ.
So Chairman PPRC Abdullah Masiande Bangura, who was he before PPRC, before the president appointed as PPRC? Now be the Deputy Attorney General, Minister of Justice, will inform the COI that wonderful report for, you know. Then Chairman Retired Senior Police Officers Association, Mori Lengo. Then Chairman Sierra Leone Ex-Service Members Association, Lieutenant Colonel Retired Fatoma Goto. I rest my case.
Not saying that the resident minister na Kenema is
no.
Goto.
No.
Na
Kesboya na Indi.
Okay, Kesboya na Indi Kenema. Okay.
Yes, Kesboya. Oh, I forget the paramount chief them Paul Coker. Also, Charles Coker also last year back. Yes, the paramount chiefs.
We're ex-servicemen.
And I call for it. So, Sierra Leone Ex-Service Members Association, Lieutenant Colonel Retired Fatoma Goto. Then Police Major Lengo. Then, of course, paramount chiefs. Did I mention? Yeah, National Security Coordinator.
Okay, so basically, in your statement to the names attached to the committee membership team is highly, sophisticatedly political.
It is. It is regionally biased in terms of names to start with, and the government. You know what in this don't show? It's us against them because the president, in his statement, said that this insurrection was mostly orchestrated by the North, Northwest, and the Western area. So he decided to not include anyone from those areas from the North. So what did that tell you?
One-sided.
Simple. So whether you're guilty or not, but already the president don't paint you guilty. So why would you want to be part of this group?
No, again, when they don't make the selection, the people that have been selected may not have a choice to turn it down because it's a president's appointment, and they want to listen to the president's appointments and follow suit just as usual. Because you know we don't call it good now, they call it bad, you know, have a cancer. You know.
So they call it good now, they call it bad. They don't agree.
You can't start it on there. Then they take your job like the next week because they replace with somebody who's ready for go on the committee because that committee is one-sided. Like I say, there's not going to be any investigation. Then they go fence sign now for go, so you don't keep coming in, make small money and plan for something else. But it's not going to be anything other than just that because what they go investigate. Some of them people are so self-blaming for going on the investigation themselves first.
Well, that's why they say, because if you go include the ONS person, when a part of the problem,
yeah,
you put them for investigation.
And for like the chiefs them or the council of certain people and go sit down for listening to the audience of the president and cannot say the fact of what has happened. Again, they say for the investigation. So what we'll do your investigation on the committee.
Yeah, they begin investigating. and the honest guy, one of his history where you go say, oh, Nadane qualifies as a security person during the FIC John 13. He was one of the lead people where they point people and say rebel collaborators. Na Guinea, Conakry, wow. Yeah, where people they come as displaced, they pointed people say this na rebel collaborator, this na rebel collaborator.
So nothing has changed.
The same finger pointing that we see today. That's what happened.
He was the one that orchestrated that.
Yes, in movement, movement for the restoration for democracy.
Wow.
And in not shame, he put on there as nine biography as well, or in profile, now ONS, waiting qualifier. If you go to ONS, they put on, so it's public knowledge as well. They not put on say they point people, but they tell you say there's movement for restoration of democracy. But we will know what they were doing. They're pointing people. People were killed unnecessarily and jailed. And the same thing is
when we other family they proudly say one of the Congosa then for the army man and for points people and back again, similar kind of thing. Now come up. But that was a shame for me for leaders. But anyway, the list ban. They will go under our own investigation. Juma and the chairman for that investigation.
Oh no, family they put family. Mr. Say I need for investigate me if I not get family then I do.
No, we need to investigate you and the chairman for this committee. You need to balance that chairmanship day. We make you the chairman for this committee, and we need to get the findings as soon as possible about every single individual on that committee day. Because what we want to do, not to discredit them, but for make the public know say they will compromise the investigation and the investigation will not be meaningful based on the fact that they already have allegiance to the sitting government and it is not going to be justifiable for them to investigate what they already believe is true. So how can they find anything wanting on the government side? It is going to be a one-sided investigation. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a waste of taxpayers' money and we should not actually follow this investigation. Even if the outcome of it is going to be controversial, we should not even bother to listen to it because at the end of the day, all the people representing this particular committee are on the side of the government. It is not a biased committee. It is not a balanced committee that will show there is nobody there that I would say is of youthful age before he relates to the...
No, well, Emmanuel Safa Abdullah is young. So.
Youthful age.
Yeah.
He don't pass 40. It's not young
anymore. That's true. Yeah.
He's not young anymore. He don't pass 40. I said youthful age. I'm talking about 16 to at least 25 or 30 or 35 years old. Because they can understand the plight of what has happened, why people take the streets. Again, this is an investigation that should cut across. It should cut across. If you bring down people of knowledge, I think so you should also bring people who are experiencing the challenges of why they should protest. It is not a balanced committee at all.
So you have a committee of 15 people, but you even name just 2 women there, and most of the people out there were women as well. And even though they are compromised already, but the only people are just 2 women out of a committee of 15. And you were talking about what? 30% quota recently?
That committee does not stand the times of whatever.
The test of time.
Yeah, it doesn't stand the test of time to me. So I will not make any reference to it anymore until we come up with real investigation. We are the chairman for that. Until further notice, let me just say for now, that investigation team is on investigation by our own.
They would investigate them for SEAL's role and they don't play behind the scenes up to now. And stuff like that.
Because I think it's important. Now they can really select juries them for any kind of case. How they will prejudice the case, isn't it?
Because and the jurors, when they don't select them, say people they come, the defense and the defense say, this one not for the. This one not for they go compromise things. So
this one would ask a question based on what you know about an historical background. It will not be fit for this particular thing. Okay, this will work and because you don't go through this kind of thing, maybe it will relate to somehow it will for pass a fair judgment. So that is exactly what in this particular panel for be. It should have been a panel that is being independently selected by a committee of people who are making suggestion of names, and then we look at the names and say, no, this is not fit for data. No, this, okay, we will manage this. No, this totally definitely out of it. And that's not the way how we go forward if we want to make changes actually happen as alone. We can't use the backdoor representation and for many can support me at the front door. And then we say they support the country. No, not the country, they support
the government and the support. And the remember, the president, we don't tell you, say, no work with nobody, we not believe in them.
Well, yeah?
That's it, right here. So if we don't reach this point, we will say, no, shelve Vanaya, and then revisit them again as we continue to investigation. So, Femi, T-Boy, last word for today's program. Who wants to go first?
Let me go first. Okay, will I go first? Okay, let go first. And also I go yes small because Femi, not so just last word they can't say. They can't even other discussion if we go to the last word. Right, I want to say thank you to the viewers them on Facebook and YouTube for all their contributions. We are not making the charts, and I believe your contributions have been read by myself and Juma and Femi, and definitely some of them we will respond to, some of them we just listen and watch and we just read. Today's show is primarily focused on two things. One, now the CNN reports. Two, now for us to do some amount of reflection on what's in the root causes of the demonstration and how we feel both parties had dealt with the situation, and the report of the international media of how they evaluate the protest itself and the victims on both sides. But again, as we say, forming a committee like this for investigate something of this kind of issue, as we say, it will be a balanced committee. We not get no bias appointment. But what we've seen so far is one-sided. It doesn't bring on, it not gets the difference of regional balance. It not get the difference of any other kind of balance except people who are actively involved in government office or government links that they form this particular committee. So I believe, within myself and possibly within Juma and Femi, the new mindset, this particular team, they actually give you a report where already we know what's not the outcome. It means they will be on the side of government. They will just tweak and change few statements that we don't see and we don't hear. We ministers have made, deputy ministers have made, the presidents have made, civil societies have made, even some amount of media practitioners, they also will make a statement. So these are all people who are not in favor of the protest. They have all condemned the protest at some point, before the protest and after the protest. So how on earth...
Protests and protesters. Yeah.
Well, how on earth can you bring people like this to investigate a crime that they've already given verdicts over before the crime and after the crime? So basically, it is not going to be a meaningful investigation that will be of any use to the Sierra Leone community. So to me, I have a big question mark, and I think personally, I will not use this investigation as something that will be of any meaningful purpose to Sierra Leone. But I will say we will possibly try as much as possible for investigate the people already at the platform for see what's in the role where they don't play before this protest, what's in the statement where they don't make, and how they will compromise their statement and they for not to be biased. Because at the moment we not get nobody really represents the protesters them, if I would say so. Because you need a balanced situation where
you're absolutely right. You know, get nobody really represents the protesters, the people who really suffer there. You're absolutely right. So everything we've seen as on our government, pro-government people. Yeah. And T-Boy, just one thing. So people don't bring out information for we will help with the investigation. Yeah. And if you have more information on the names they will don't mention or the institutions, then make a note to it. So more like say Emmanuel Safa Abdullah Naina, the defense person for Kamarimba. Kamarimba being head of a political party.
No,
and if you cannot secure his release or bail up to this point.
No one like Kamarimba still in a prison. So it's deliberate.
Yeah. So then, Boy Jalo Jamboya say Indo appoints himself as the international relations man for the CRGM media investigations. You're welcome, sir. They appoint you, definitely. Because when we don't go through this, they don't take an entry over go bridge.
Yeah.
Because they're saying a rebel collaborator.
Yeah. He suffered the consequences of being finger pointed.
Yeah, so he.
But like I say, you see, now make a born for good last because I know was in the Cambridge me back again. But anyway, I want to say thank you and thank you and thank you.
Thank you so much, Tibo. Over to you, Femi.
Femi, I for copy you picture right up to your chest because when I was yeah, that's fine.
Juma being a problem, I think it's about inherit all them problem in the now. So yeah, it's been an interesting conversation. You know, watching I want to begin you know, I'll take them back a little bit. So watching the thing unfold on television today, because I don't know saying CNN they released the video, but not today I see them. You know,
no, the last time I go check up was 10 hours ago. That was like 2 hours before our program, so it was released today.
Okay, so yeah, so today, I didn't work actually. I come in a meeting and there was TV on one of the room them who have been there, and I see Sierra Leone come up. So I turn the volume up. I sit down there with my colleagues them, and we listen. You know, and I believe said that yesterday night and do the civic funeral for the police officers. So one thing where really and truly, I'm not gonna say shock me, but one thing where stand out, now say Sierra Leone had a civic funeral, we most probably the international world know about, and CNN know about Dandy the day before, but none of that not make news na the documentary we didn't do. So it feels as if okay. So we have been criticized heavily because of what we see. Obviously, CNN, BBC, and other people, and they say the same thing what they say, but you know nobody not going to criticize them. We had a lot of negative issues, people even threatening remarks them made to us about what we do and say we're anti-government, we're not patriotic, we not condemn the killing of the police officers. And one of the people them I actually address and tell and say, well, it looks like so you know watch any if we shows them, because we have always said that we do not condone the violence we don't be. But the violence, not one side, it don't do. The violence was both from the armed forces and the civilians. And we believe, say, if the armed forces, in the police in particular, didn't come out that heavy-handedly, then I mean for them meet up the amount of people them will cause the problem. Then bubble them and teach them for them sing, dance, wave them, placard them, and go home peacefully. But because you can't approach them with force, weapons, tear gas, live bullets, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to run, and we see gun begin a problem. Because some go to run away, some go to run towards the police. And if you don't kill Pussy we sit down next to me, or sit down next to the next man, that person need to try for escape and use anything. And say if you back a lion to the wall, what do you expect? You expect the crowd for retaliate. If there's 5 or 6 police officers there and they're shooting at Una, some people can go on, other people can go fight back. And then, you know, as Steve Webber said earlier, that's war, that happens in war. But what shocked me more, that CNN did not mention anything about the civic funeral. I should say they know Bodande, but they choose to go because I should say themselves not understand how them police officers would die. I'm not saying that their death is justified. Nobody's death is. but somebody have to take responsibility for what happened on the 10th. And I believe say the policeman them, we heard them before that day. They warn people and say they will do exactly what they did. If you go na somebody else for go thief, you go with knife, you might injure somebody, you might even kill somebody. But if you go with gun a person, you understand me to say you intend for go kill. You intend for go kill that person there. And when you do that day, that means to say the person in security within a door, in self-armed, in self they can with the intention for can stop you. So somebody get for die or get seriously injured. We need for stop them here, so we can't stay approach then kind of situation here so with then kind force there so. If you're going into a crowd and you fire inside crowd, you are really telling me say when you fire live bullets inside crowd, you are really telling me say you know things say you go kill person. And when you do so, you know things say retaliation will be. So I think say our leaders them are not responsible enough. They're not doing what them for do. The advices them are very poor. I mean, the least way they cable do now for say, pa, we think say somebody for take a rap for this. No matter who that, you know, for just you know, and this are free advice I give them. For just make things and die. Somebody needs to go down for this. Somebody get for lost in job. Now America, that one shooting take place a few years ago now a few months ago now one school where the police then failed for responding time. What's happened? The chief of police they not ask him for a job yesterday. They ask and say make he resign. That's what the investigation said. Somebody was responsible. The police officers took their time to go in to deal with the shooter. And whilst then they do that, and they more and more picking and die. So somebody has to be held responsible, and the chief of police was deemed the responsible person. That's what you do in a responsible country. Yeah,
Femi,
somebody get for take that responsibility.
Femi, just a quick one on that. You might want to say America, oh, now advance, we know they in America, but Liberia, then get similar situation then with protests, right? Do you know what happened? Right now, the Inspector General of Police, the head of police, they know Olam. Because he give order for let them shoot at the protesters then. He's been held right now. They're under investigation. So this is not Liberia. The protesters then write a letter for another protest. You know what we saw? The police them now then they give them food and drink to the protesters then. Continue, I just wanted to highlight that. This is neighboring Liberia. That we used to compare ourselves, say, oh, we better pass Liberia ourselves.
So you're right, Juba. And then the money because, you know, nobody takes responsibility in our country. Yeah, nobody they take responsibility, and that is the problem. You know, these people are calling themselves leaders. Wait till I can say about the captain of the ship. The captain of the ship goes down with the ship. The buck is on him. If the police they're not responsible, somebody in ministry has to be responsible. If they're not responsible, the president himself has to be responsible, because these people work for the state. And they've gone out and they've massacred people. They have massacred people. We know they say Denzel another lost life. Yes, they have. And we feel bad about that. And we condone the people them, especially that act where we see where then they beat a master policeman. It is wrong. And if they offend them people and need them for deal with themselves appropriately. They should. But the police, they're supposed to be more responsible. You've got guns in your hands. Then people have to get stoned. Then get sick. You want to tell me you don't go shoot them at the foot if you get for shoot them safe? You go shoot that bobo na in balcony, you shoot on an aid? You shoot on an aid, you fire bullets, you fire pistol into a crowd of young people, women and children, and you call yourself responsible? Really, until we can laugh no more, but some of them are so terrible. It's like in a barbaric state we did. You know, so sometimes the president's right in saying we're terrorists. Sometimes he's right, but he's looking at the wrong people. He's pointing the finger at the wrong people. The one way they terrorize we country, we sabi them. We sabi the one way they terrorize we country, because at the same one way they enjoy the fruits of we country. So if you want blame people and say they're not terrorists, sometimes you need for look within your organization. It's really sad, and we get for really and truly take time how would they deal with people them. A lot of people lost their lives. Yes, some people they don't know if them picking and their life died and in the hospital, no nothing. All they know say them picking go rally and they didn't come home. Some people then go take them inside the house the days after the scene. 30 the people don't know their whereabouts. We they talk about Pademba Road. Una they talk say them go beg almost people. Some people they don't know if them people are still alive 2 years down the line. Because they don't know if they're still in a jail or if they don't die. There's nothing, no investigation. Now they can't say investigation by this. Sometimes somebody don't promise and small money say if they investigate this, so almost $1 million go come out, because that's always the case. You know, it's honestly our people that with the advice we leaders they need to do a better job. Then they make with shame, not treat. All governments get in bad way they do. I don't think say any government at this world day will totally clean. But what they can do, they can align themselves with the right people where they advise them. So when they do wrong as well, then they advise them. And we judges them for sit up and watch waiting they happen. Because until now they can't say much. But hopefully in a few years time or next year, when election don't take place, then for able for bring some of them people also to justice. Because you can't be above the law, because that's what they are at the moment. Police don't get for all them. The army man them we decide say no, they're not here to police because not to their work land. They don't work now for defend the country against invasion, against alien people with the kinds of the country, foreigners them. They know they can't police the country because they refuse for enter the discussion. Almost of them got sacked. So you see, if you not toe the line, you lose your job. That is ridiculous in this day and age. But as I always say, our leaders, them, this present administration, one thing we're not there on the inside that say this is the information age. And always most of them coming out of the diaspora, they don't understand what it mean. It means say una can't control the information. Una shut down the internet. Una shut down the internet deliberately because una no go make certain images in Canada. Even the investigation with CNN they put, then talk them, then show when the graph dropped when the internet was cut off. Because they know say if the images of police officers firing at unarmed people them and seeing dead people on the streets will not be a good image for them. Now I make them do that. It's sad what's happening that day and today they're not really able to do anything more time. This investigation, I wish really and truly some of them people and they will not appoint to go shame and do their work them properly instead of bowing to political pressure. I hope they don't go do their work properly and we go able to forgive we go able to say peaceful goodbye to some of the people who would have lost both the civilians and the police. I think say the police families them were sit down yesterday and go that civic funeral day. If you then put the hand at the heart as well and think, then go realize say the administration gets parts for play pandemic people in Taiwan because they sent them out there. So they're equally responsible for the police than Taiwan because they send the police out there for go do work with they're not supposed to do. But anyway, me also want to be back. I don't see that. I don't listen to now. I would like to thank our guests that we watch we and listen to we every week. And I don't mind we ask you one because people are threatening us. Not to joke, not to warn anyone we now. Not threaten me because of what they try to do. We want to see now make them go threaten CNN because CNN the same thing what they say. It's just we say CNN they talk almost weeks after, almost months after, almost years after we and say Jeremy that don't they talk this talk. Over to you, Juma.
Oh, thank you so much, Femi. And you don't highlight everything there. We not get much for say. Again, like you speak to the police family, the government even they set up the security forces for failure because the role of the police is supposed to be to protect life and property, not to perpetrate violence against the people. So if you send them with orders from above for go shoot and kill at people, and unfortunately the consequences make the other people and for defend themselves, according to what the report is different, because now when I don't rush and bury them, the report says some of them die of gunshot wound. Would have killed them, would have shoot them. We have to ask that, who gave the order to shoot at civilians? These are the questions that will get for the ask. And the government, get for once, left the deception and try to be genuine with the people of Sierra Leone. That's the only way, you can move forward. Don't tell people to shut up and wait until election day for go vote. You don't have that right to tell people when to protest, when to say. That you have to gag people. That's not how it works. When people voted for you, they gave you a mandate for 5 years. So within that 5 years, if anything go wrong, they should be able to ask you a question at any day, any given time. Your mandate is not for them to ask a question at the end of your 5 years. That's complete arrogance and disrespectful for the people that will vote for you. And even though they don't vote for you, because you're government and you're president for the people of Sierra Leone, not for only the 1 million or 2 million people will vote for you. Population of Sierra Leone is 7-point-something million people. And the population that votes is possibly 4 million. Over 3 million people not they vote in the country, but you're still a president for them all. Not everybody that voted against you or did not vote for you protested against you on that day for you to label people like that. So be honest. And for the people that they threat, you can continue to threaten as much as possible, but we'll still talk because we are issue-based platform. We'll continue to talk about the issues. For reviewers, I want to say thank you for spending time with us, and hope you follow us, you subscribe to our channels and our platforms so that you get first-hand information. And until next week, Juma Ba, on behalf of the CRGM Media team, is saying good night.
On August 10th in Sierra Leone's capital, Freetown, people took to the streets to protest a worsening cost of living crisis. Rising food shortages have left over half the population without enough food to eat, according to the World Food Programme. Protesters hurled rocks, set buses alight. Authorities were quick to condemn the destruction, which they said left 8 officers dead, with the president of Sierra Leone labelling the protesters as terrorists. There was no mention of the number of civilians killed, which Reuters reported as high as 21. But it was the severe police crackdown both on the streets and online that has revealed worrying signs of a government suppressing freedom of speech. The voice you're hearing is of 20-year-old Jibrila Kojo. Sitting on his balcony, he calls for those running past to be careful and not damage the cars parked below. Just over an hour later, Jibrila would be dead. His friend David, whose name we have changed to protect his identity, witnessed the shooting and says Jibrila was shot in the neck by Sierra Leone's police.
It was totally harmless. It was not even part of the protest. It was at the balcony watching the protest.
David's videos of the events are rare and risky. He told CNN he believes it was the sight of him and his friend filming that made them a target for police.
Even before Jibo died, we had him. I told him that they were firing life rounds. We need to back up, we need to get inside. But he insisted. He said they were firing rubber bullets, but it was life rounds.
CNN analysed a bullet casing found at the scene, which was confirmed by weapons experts to be from live ammunition. The police have made no comment on whether they did use live bullets during the protests. David's filming 2 hours before Jibrila's death reveals armed police standing on the streets below. You can see the red hats indicating it's the Operational Support Division, an armed unit of the police, which according to Amnesty International has a track record for shooting at unarmed protesters dating back to 2007. As other scenes of injured and bloodied protesters across Freetown began to be shared on social media, the internet was cut off. By midday, just half an hour after Jibrila's death, NetBlocks recorded a total shutdown of the internet, activity NetBlocks identified as an intentional disruption. The next day, a statement was issued by the government's Department for Cybersecurity warning that anyone spreading incendiary information online could be punished with up to 20 years in prison. And the basis for this threat was a new cybersecurity law introduced in 2021 and backed by the EU, UK and the Council of Europe.
To sign into law today the Cybersecurity and Crime Act.
The law had aimed to safeguard intellectual property and privacy online and was part of a broader initiative by the EU and UK to fund projects across Africa that tackled cybercrime. In statements to CNN, the EU and UK delegations to Sierra Leone said they were engaging with the government on freedom of speech and protest. The delegation encouraged all measures which lead to dialogue and refrained from repressive measures, the EU said. And the Council of Europe said the spreading of incendiary information is not listed in the offences under the Act. Do you think it's what the UK and EU intended for this law to be used by?
Definitely not. I mean, neither the EU, which is founded upon the basic principles of human rights, and nor any democratic state in the world, including the United Kingdom, would even consider an attempt to limit the freedom of speech in such a manner.
Reporters Without Borders told CNN any repressive provision of freedom of expression online must be repealed, and said they called on authorities in Sierra Leone to highlight the fact the Act should not interfere with the rights to freedom of expression. And for many in Sierra Leone who spoke to CNN, they said this law made them fearful to use social media to document what they witnessed during the August 10th protests.
They want you guys to see it, like the foreign medias. They want the foreign medias to be seeing these videos.
Do you feel scared right now?
Of course, yes. Of course, 100%. Yes. I'm actually expecting to think about it, but I pray it don't happen.
Katie Poglaze, CNN, London.
I love my country, but I usually say Sierra Leone is the country I hate to love. I do love my country, but my God, it's painful. So this, to me, the anger is not because my father and others have been killed and laid here. The anger is coming that we are not learning. We are making the same mistakes all the time. All the time, we're making the same mistakes.
Today, I greet you with a heavy heart. Let us mourn for and pray to God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to grant eternal peace to our police officers and other citizens who were violently killed on the 10th of August 2022. On that day, the peace, security, and stability of this nation was shattered by persons whose insurrection was premeditated, well-planned, financed, and executed with shocking brutality. Before August 10th, they had severally identified themselves on social media as APC warriors, PPP, and persons who are determined to capture political power, even at the cost of hundreds of lives. For some time now also, some politicians have been raising tension with divisive language and threats to make this country ungovernable. Their known surrogates and associates have stated that they will continue to illegally use violence to unseat the democratically elected government. The events of August 10 were a clear statement of their collective intent. The Constitution and laws of the Republic not only guarantee the right to free speech and peaceful protest, but also provides applicable restrictions. As in all democracies, the right to peaceful protest should be exercised by identifiable persons, and it should not threaten public safety and peace. The right to protest should not be expressed as a right to violently murder police officers, abandon police stations, and disturb the peace of our country. Clearly, this was not a peaceful protest. The unrest occurred only in parts of Makeni, Binkolo, Magoroka, Kamakwie, Longi, Western Rural, Eastern Freetown, and towards PZ in Freetown. There were no protests in all other parts of the country, including large parts of Freetown. This was not a protest against the high cost of living occasioned by the ongoing global economic crisis. The chant of the insurrectionists was for a violent overthrow of the democratically elected government. The killings and destructions targeted police officers and public and private property associated with the government. Theirs was not a protest about measures undertaken by the government to handle the challenges brought on by the global economic crisis. Let's be reminded that since COVID-19 struck, government has undertaken specific economic mitigation, recovery, and resilience measures that have kept essential food items and fuel on the market, kept businesses running, maintained public services, and regularly paid monthly salaries. In fact, government has reduced fuel and transportation prices twice in the last month alone. This is in addition to other social safety payments and cash transfers to poor and vulnerable populations and microfinance loans to women and youth. The government is expanding skills development and vocational educational opportunities and creating jobs in various sectors of the economy, especially in mining in the northern province, and small-scale manufacturing in other parts of the country. Government had also undertaken large-scale efforts towards food security and kept its free quality school education and healthcare priorities on course. This insurrection, which was executed by clearly identified partisans using the cover of follow-on crowds, including children, was characterized by targeted killings, wanton looting, and destruction of property. It was not a peaceful cost of living protest. This was simply an attack on the peace and security, an attack on the rule of law, an attack on democracy. In addition to the overarching objective, the attacks were meant to violently disrupt the daily and normal activities and lives of ordinary Sierra Leoneans. To the international community, it was meant to present Sierra Leone as a place where law and order has completely broken down. Government will not sit idly by for such persons to disturb the peace of this nation, and derail the gains we are making in this nation. The full force of the law will be brought to bear on all those persons who attacked and killed police officers. They, their sponsors, and their collaborators will not go unpunished. There will also be a full investigation into the death of ordinary citizens who lost their lives in this senseless violence incited by those unknown persons. In the coming weeks and months, government will undertake necessary security actions meant to guarantee the peace and security of all citizens. While these may cause some unavoidable inconveniences, government's action will guarantee all constitutional rights and freedoms of peaceful citizens. The security forces will and must act with great restraint and within their professional codes of service. But be assured that my government will crack down hard on violent insurrectionists, their collaborators, their sponsors, and their supporters. My government will relentlessly fight those who would rather use terror and gruesome violence to achieve political goals. As president, I urge every peace-loving Sierra Leonean to be mindful that our national unity, peace, and stability are essential for our survival as a nation. Let us continue to respect all the laws of Sierra Leone and remain law-abiding. Just over 20 years ago, we turned our backs on using violence to resolve our differences. We have since made great progress to consolidate our democracy. My government has made effort to open up spaces for dialogue and peace. Bintu Manithe was meant to bring all parties together to forge a pathway to peace and national cohesion. Since then, we have established the National Commission for Peace and National Cohesion. We have removed obnoxious, seditious libel laws, and Sierra Leone has made great improvements in global press freedom rankings. No journalist is imprisoned for the practice of journalism. There are traditional and community leaders, youth, and community groups through which citizens can express their views. My government has maintained open dialogue with civil society organizations and international partners. Government also assures the right to peaceful protest as long as groups and their leadership identify themselves and work within the existing laws of Sierra Leone. Peaceful protesters will be fully protected by law enforcement officials. My government has further undertaken progressive reforms to guarantee fundamental constitutional rights and freedoms, create opportunity, and ensure gender empowerment and equality. The dates for democratic elections have been announced over a year in advance, and political parties are free to organize peacefully and present policies to citizens of this nation. Fellow citizens, let me close by expressing deep condolences to bereaved families. We will fully investigate all deaths as a result of this violent insurrection. As a government, we will honor the police officers who were murdered with a civic funeral in respect of their service to this nation. Their deaths shall not be in vain, and we will bring their killers and those responsible for their deaths to justice. I thank you, and may God bless the Republic of Sierra Leone.
On August 10th in Sierra Leone's capital, Freetown, people took to the streets to protest a worsening cost of living crisis. Rising food shortages have left over half the population without enough food to eat, according to the World Food Programme. Protesters hurled rocks, set buses alight. Authorities were quick to condemn the destruction, which they said left 8 officers dead, with the president of Sierra Leone labelling the protesters as terrorists. There was no mention of the number of civilians killed, which Reuters reported as high as 21. But it was the severe police crackdown both on the streets and online that has revealed worrying signs of a government suppressing freedom of speech. The voice you're hearing is of 20-year-old Jibrila Kojo. Sitting on his balcony, he calls for those running past to be careful and not damage the cars parked below. Just over an hour later, Jibrila would be dead. His friend David, whose name we have changed to protect his identity, witnessed the shooting and says Jibrila was shot in the neck by Sierra Leone's police.
He was totally harmless. He was not even part of the protest. He was at the balcony watching the protest.
David's videos of the events are rare and risky. He told CNN he believes it was the sight of him and his friend filming that made them a target for police.
Even before Jibo died, we had him. I told him that they were firing life rounds. We need to back up, we need to get inside. But he insisted. He said they were firing rubber bullets, but it was life rounds.
CNN analysed a bullet casing found at the scene, which was confirmed by weapons experts to be from live ammunition. The police have made no comment on whether they did use live bullets during the protests. David's filming 2 hours before Jibrila's death reveals armed police standing on the streets below. You can see the red hats indicating it's the Operational Support Division, an armed unit of the police, which according to Amnesty International has a track record for shooting at unarmed protesters dating back to 2007. As other scenes of injured and bloodied protesters across Freetown began to be shared on social media, the internet was cut off. By midday, just half an hour after Jibrila's death, NetBlocks recorded a total shutdown of the internet, activity NetBlocks identified as an intentional disruption. The next day, a statement was issued by the government's Department for Cybersecurity warning that anyone spreading incendiary information online could be punished with up to 20 years in prison. And the basis for this threat was a new cybersecurity law introduced in 2021 and backed by the EU, UK and the Council of Europe.
To sign into law today the Cybersecurity and Crime Act.
The law had aimed to safeguard intellectual property and privacy online and was part of a broader initiative by the EU and UK to fund projects across Africa that tackled cybercrime. In statements to CNN, the EU and UK delegations to Sierra Leone said they were engaging with the government on freedom of speech and protest. The delegation encouraged all measures which lead to dialogue and refrained from repressive measures, the EU said. And the Council of Europe said the spreading of incendiary information is not listed in the offences under the Act. Do you think it's what the UK and EU intended for this law to be used by?
Definitely not. I mean, neither the EU, which is founded upon the basic principles of human rights, and nor any democratic state in the world, including the United Kingdom, would even consider an attempt to limit the freedom of speech in such a manner.
Reporters Without Borders told CNN any repressive provision of freedom of expression online must be repealed, and said they called on authorities in Sierra Leone to highlight the fact the Act should not interfere with the rights to freedom of expression. And for many in Sierra Leone who spoke to CNN, they said this law made them fearful to use social media to document what they witnessed during the August 10th protests.
They want you guys to see it, like the foreign medias. They want the foreign medias to be seeing these videos.
Do you feel scared right now?
Of course, yes. Of course, 100%. Yes. I'm actually expecting to think about it, but I pray it don't happen.
Katie Poglaze, CNN, London.
Silverstone Beats.
People killing, people dying, children hurting, hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love?
See this life we live, oh, we all have to give, oh, yeah, yeah. Cause all I see is evil, and too much killing of my people, yeah, yeah. So let's bless one another, yeah, yeah. So let's help one another. I sing again, yeah.
What's me, I don't see this kind of thing where they happen. This not for be education opportunity. Now in we need, let we learn for the share, not to all time for big greed.
You see this life to live, oh, you see where we lose or we know. Stop killing one another, let's stand together, yeah. Stop playing the hero, looking at each other like we're zero. On the block with a C, money they can make every day pan free, yeah.
R.I.P. They took our boys, they take our joy, take our joy. This study time we stop now crime. Don't blind bodies like your future.
Stop the stabbing, stop the killing. Let's love one another. Peace.
Where is the
I see fighting every day, I see dying every day. Why don't we help each other and pave the way for a better life, a life that we all deserve? Instead of killing each other, why don't we preserve? So you wanna be a bad man, he's gonna be a badder man. You got a big knife, he's gonna get a bigger knife. Our people suffered for years in chains. Now we turn on each other, cut for gains. For the ones that send the youth to kill themselves, you pretend to be a father figure but only care for yourself. You are nothing but the flesh of the devil. You're evil, low life on another level. Think about the mothers and the pain they go through. You don't care for these kids, they mean nothing to you. But karma only knows the boomerang maneuver. One day the Green Reaper will be your remover.
They said of the range ranting up some sanctimonious food is as poetic verses, ruminate a prophecy given to a sentient dude. So I say it's as it is for you to listen and deduce the wisdom that's gonna liberate and galvanize you. Under the sun ain't nothing new, that for black and black crimes and breaking news. Under the sun ain't nothing new.
You gotta stand up. Stand up for what you believe in. Gotta stand up. Stand up for what is right. Cause if you got me, then I've got you too. Regardless of what you've been through. Even when you're feeling new.
Where is the
love? Do this if we try. There's no time to waste no time. Together forever, whatever the weather. Us as a unit working together.
See, I did not love done, but me heart still not tongue. God don't lift me up, but me heart still not run. You will never go far if you don't know where you're from. So I don't do it for myself, I'ma do it for the young. Plead to my brothers, let's do it for the youngers. Why spend a bag on a jumper? Back where you're from, people dying with hunger. With people then they suffer. You then I argue the bluff, it's copper. You the game need for change, like we not get soft. Where's the love? Where's the love, yo? Where's the love? I said,
where is the love?
Little youth, let's take time. Stop all the knife and the gun crime. Think of the future, paint that picture. Get a youth in the future. Peace gonna rain on we. Peace gonna rain on we. Yeah.
Let's stop the violence and come together. Get rid of knives and guns and bombs, let's be together. Pray peace and love, God and hope through storm and weather. See what is going on. Where is love?
Tell me, how do you feel when you see your brothers and sisters lying down the street helplessly? And what will you do if you die today and find yourself in hell?
I want to ask you this. Look inside your eyes and answer me with all the truth. Where you get whose side the love they?
When I left. Boku man them get nef. If you live by the nef, you will suffer. You know get sense, you know sabi say nef not for butter. Stabbing guys, yeah that's uncool. When it comes to knives, yeah I'm anti. What happened to fighting guys with your hands, G? When you stab a man, it's not one man you stab. Just remember that you stab a whole family.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and hear them crying. You can practice what you preach.